season.
Yeah, I know, but still, just because you put Italian seasoning on it doesn't make it Italian. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But it's going to be delicious.
Oh man,
that's all that matters.
The futures are low right here, guys. I'm bidding 110.11 right now. So here it comes. Yes, bang! That is your hot dog cannon trade of the day for me, man. There goes the futures. Big trade now, $2 in. But you want to update SMCI?
No, SMCI closed the entirety of the gap. VWAP into the gap from Friday. So there's the move. It's about $1, couple of points. It's still green on the day, believe it or not. That's not going to last. And before we go over to the midday, this one maybe was better. Intel was probably an even better short because that gave you a very clean. It was also $1, but it's a little bit cheaper of a stock and certainly pretty liquid as well. But overall, the market looks like it is going to hold underneath, well, whatever. It's the overnight lows that are being tested right now. We'll speculate on that throughout the midday. Should have a lot of fun. I know Sharief should be excited for these Halt fans that are showing up on some of those small cappers.
Great trading today,
everybody. Good luck out there, everybody. We'll see you back at 2 o'clock.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh. Cactus Jack, boom. Cactus Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharief. And yeah, we are already involved in some trading, but let's see who's here joining us today. Shout out to Jody Mills,
what's up, Jody?
Rev Boost, Andrew Chat. You gotta shout out your fans, Joe. Anuja, shout out to Denise. Good vibes, Denise. T-Money's in the house as well as Soul Queen 88. Jesse Munson and Ket. Copy, paste. Hinzy's in the house. Shout out to Cure. And Super, no. Yes, I can fix AOC. Are you kidding me? I can fix AOC. I need to talk to you, brother. T-Dog, shout out to Miami P and Jaguar Net. Adrian in the house as Vaughn Allen joining us as well. Victory Mindset and Dropped System. The man, the myth, the legend. Shout out to Donkey Trader as well as Charles. We got, who else, man? Papa Bear. We got Nikki. We got Trader Forever. Dr. Dark Room. I was going to say Dr. Dark Doom. Emil. Don Enrique, Ed Miller, Brent Roth, and Ashik Ahmed. Good morning to everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic long weekend. I had a long weekend. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. And y'all ready for some trading? Because as the big boys on the big show told us, or they kind of prefaced the whole thing, we got halt bins now, and I can't wait to use them. We'll be showing them to you guys on the level 2, baby.
Yep.
Boom.
We like that stuff. All right, guys. I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning. Let's start rocking and rolling and getting into some trade talk. Okay, well, QUBT was my #1 on the list. Why? We can break that down a little bit later. But at the end of the day, I'm just using what we take from an intraday standpoint, from a daily standpoint, and then just translating that through multiple time frames. There was multiple signals across the board in QUBT that over the weekend made me say, hey, I'm going to try to buy the lows, any indecision prints. We're going to get involved in this. And I'm going to display to you guys right now exactly what I was doing over the weekend and looking for certain things. So there it is on QUBT, starting to bleed aggressively. I didn't flip, so we'll call that one Hezi Nation right there because there's multiple opportunities to get involved. But on the daily, guys, you know I'm going to look for prints like this all day, every day.
All day.
Down 50%, and you have that hammer candle at an extreme low. Sure enough, I'm coming in here today and I'm prepared. So first entry, we start relatively small, doesn't work out. I double my size on that second print. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. You have that double fake out, and then sure enough, let's see if we can get that move to VWAP and anything north of it. And there it is, bang, attempt number 2. So 50% right there, putting us nicely green on the session. But hold up, it's not over. We tried to take a long on Apple. That did not work for us, but that's okay. It continued to bleed, still slightly green on the session. We're not going to complain about that. But the flip short on QUBT was absolutely cash money. Why? I'm going to explain it right now. So let's head over to QUBT one more time. It's the momentum heading in towards the volume weighted average price is what led me to say, should we flip this short? and we didn't take that opportunity. A beautiful chance there, giving you over 50 cents on a $13 name. Fantastic stuff. We like that, and continuing to bleed. Still looking for some indecision prints around the lows, just in case we get a pullback. How deep they are, I don't think they're going to be overly, so shallow pullbacks in and out, and that's the game plan for today. Adara, what do you got?
We have some fairly dovish commentary coming here from Fed's Myron, who's actually saying that it's reasonable to be incrementally more dovish. So Fed's Myron not only dovish, but saying it actually makes sense for this to be the case. He said that data since September suggests that Fed should be even more dovish than they were with their September view. He also mentioning here that inflation data is stale, but that inflation is coming down. So again, we have some dovishness from Fed's Myron, not particularly shocking, but just be aware, it looks like he is speaking. I was not seeing him on the calendar, but sometimes these Feds will have interviews, et cetera, that aren't necessarily going to be on the calendar. One last thing here, saying that the potential end to the government shutdown doesn't really change the Fed's outlook all too much. Back to you.
Ooh, yeah, good stuff. So that's all I got going on right now. I'm also looking at the options chain, guys, to see what I'm writing. I forget the individual's name. I was thinking about them all week, and it's like, yeah, you were right. Wait until next week. So what happened is I had a bunch of short calls. I covered them. And sure enough, with that gap up over the weekend, I would have lost all the premium that I collected. So shout out to the individual who we both preach, hey, 75% collected, get out of there, and then roll those over to something else. So I'm looking at the exact same strike prices with the exact same premium ability to collect, and then we're going to take that trade here potentially. What do you got, Sharief?
All right, Joey, we got a couple of trades on right now. Swag. We swag.
Pretty Boy Swag.
Hey, all right.
You remember that song? Oh, man. No.
Sing it.
Because I got that Pretty Boy Swag.
Yeah, 100%.
Soulja Boy, man.
Yeah,
Pretty Boy Swag.
I just wanted to troll you a little bit, but you ended up killing it.
Yeah. I thought Pretty Boy
joke's on me. Guys, we're in SWAG right now. We're along 280s. This one looking real good, 36.75%. We're working our way, it feels like, into that $3 area. It's a 290 high right now. Look, I liked what this was doing at 270. Multiple bottoming tail candles into 270 showed me there was an aggressive buyer in that level. Alas, I didn't sit down when it was trading at 270. I sat down when it was trading at 280. I like the level. I like the higher lows. I like the higher highs. And here we go again. We're at the high of the day right now at 90. There's a monster seller, as there has been, at 90 for the last 15 about 15 minutes or so. We can't shake the seller. Look at that, guys. No size posted on any of the gateway. You got ones all throughout, but we can't shake the seller despite a 6,700 share order. And that's just on one line. So there's a big boy seller at 90. Be careful, because it can flip the script on you in a second. What I'm trying to ride here is the trend with higher highs and higher lows. So I've been kind of moving up my stop and putting in DCA's planned dollar cost average orders where they are warranted. So that's my look right now on SWAG, looking for that 90 break. And then eventually there it goes, Joey, taking out all the levels there into 96, 97 now showing up. We're waiting at 98. 98's there. There it is. There's 3. We're going to wet the beak at 3. And now we're going to post very high up. Let's see what we get here on the Swagster to the high side, $3. Now let's see, we're going to get some resistance here. All right, maybe we clear 3 initially, 305, 307, but we're going to have trouble with 3 likely, as you know, that's just going to be a psychological level of resistance. So swag, certainly in my focus. That trade is doing really good. Let's talk about the crap that's not doing that good. VCIG. We're 6 pennies out of the money, and this displeases me greatly because I earmarked the volume weighted average price with the overlap on the 10 EMA to be a good level of support. Shows how much I know. No, I don't mean to disparage myself, but the point is we try to put the odds on our side with these bad boys, and sometimes the odds just don't work. So we got stopped out there. That will be a loser. I'm substantially up more on SWAG than I am down on VCIG. So if this one wants to get its act in order and get back above the volume weighted average price and stop disappointing me, we'll get back involved with this one. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. Back now to SWAG as it zigs. It zags at that $3 level, still $3 on the dot high a day. And you'll notice all 3 of my planned DCAs to defend into 60, and that was a 10 EMA at the time, all of them went unfilled. So we're moving here with our initial position size having not sized in anymore. So we want to take out too much too quickly. All right, so let's get the side charts over here and talk about. Oh, Adam, come on, bro. You're really gonna shout out Sunderland? You're gonna celebrate a tie, bro? Oh. You're gonna celebrate a tie? That's small time thinking, my boy. All right, so we're gonna look at the next one over here. We're gonna talk about RGTZ. So I was trading this one on Thursday because the pickings were slim, right? And it ended up having a good day Thursday, a good day Friday. That is, of course, until the market started ramping up to the high side, and then RGTZ, which is an inverse leverage ETF, 200% 2 times of Rigetti, started moving right back down, but alas, quantum weak again and trying to break through 18. So we're going to keep an eye here on RGTZ, not my favorite to go into at the moment. PSNL looked really good, man. It looked like it was bull flagging. The volume was there. We're talking about 350, 400,000 candles per 5 minute, or shares per 5 minute candle. 988, you think it's probably going to work its way up to 11. You'd be wrong, because now it's trading at 8 3/4, and most notably, it is putting in that lower downtrend of lower highs and lower lows. In fact, it's below VWAP, and when it attempted to reclaim VWAP, it got smacked right in the face there and then made another area low. So if this one wants to catch a bid, move back above volume weighted average price, which is showing me 906, 905, we'll get involved with that. Otherwise, no go. Let's keep an eye, though, on VERO as well. This one was good in the pre-market, giving up the ghost now. If it works its way back above, we'll get involved. Pizza, I'll get to in a second. And then last but not least, Joey, this one we won't be able to trade on our system because it's blocked unless my very good friend Neil can come in and submit a ticket to get this one unblocked. But it's got a good trend under its wings here. Higher lows, higher high with a 318 high. Alas, doesn't have much in the way of notional, having closed at 276 on Friday. So this one is on the MX network, likely why it is blocked on our system, because, well, we all know what the MX network is like. So that's the issue there. Now, last but not least, PZZA. Bit more expensive of a name, right? 45, 46 bucks at the moment. I do like the fact that it's trading above the volume weighted average price, and I also like the general uptrend, right? We also have lower highs, so I'm alive to that, but we have noticeably higher lows. So this is a compression pattern, possibly a bull pennant. Let's see if this one resolves in the direction of the trend above 47 1/4. That is a local area high. That's that topping tail candle that manifested at 11 o'clock. So that is what I'm looking there. But swag just dropped and filled me at one of my planned DCA. So we have 73 here, Joey. So let's take out some at 75, and then we're going to post into an area high here. SWAG dropped off $3, double top at 3. It's at the 10 EMA, in between the 10 EMA and VWAP right now. It'll have to hold this level, otherwise we're gonzino. Joey, tell them what you got.
All right, man. Super chat from our guy, Adam. James, HPN, Healing Pain Naturally, crushing it over there in South America. What's up, my friend? I'm a City fan. You know what this mean, or you know this man, says Sharief.
Oh, he's a City fan?
He's a City fan.
That
man.
all makes
City.
sense now,
It's
Joseph.
It
all makes sense.
All right,
okay,
it makes a lot of sense. I have
good,
no
good
idea
one
about
been by City. They beat the taste out of Neil's team's mouth. Liverpool. It was 3-0.
Liverpool.
It was an ass whooping, Joey.
Liverpool.
It was embarrassing for the defending champs.
All right.
Embarrassing, Joey.
If anything, I'm a Chelsea. Oh, whoa, hey.
Oh, you're a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, I've been telling you, I was always a Chelsea guy, man. Yeah, just the blue, you know what I mean? We got to get the blue going. Yeah, so that's how we're rocking and rolling.
How are we gonna react to this, chat?
To be honest with you, dude, I haven't
right
played FIFA since like 07.
FIFA?
Yeah, FIFA.
We're talking about FIFA?
Yeah, FIFA 07.
Talking about the Prem.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying in the game, is you go and play some of those guys. Boo, says Roland.
London
all right,
is blue.
guys,
What's
which
happening?
is crazy. All right, guys, let's get into some trading here and look at some things. What are we going to be collecting premium-wise? London is blue.
No, it's not.
Money, let's go. But as for IBIT, guys, someone mentioned double bottom. So around 59, yeah, that's holding up right now. There's a key resistance zone we can see at 60s. We can take a look at the options chain as well, too, to see if we got any high levels of open interest there. I don't think we do. and that's going to be in a couple weeks expiration cycle. So there it is on 60. I'm writing these right here, 69, posted up for 71 on those. So let's see if that we can catch a fill. As for the open interest, it is relatively high, but the reason why I want to write the 65s is because of this call wall, and then the next one's going to be around 68. Wow, this size is still substantially higher than what I ever imagined. So what I was essentially getting at with NVDA this morning is around 205. You're going to see that call wall as well too. That's going to be resistance. So once you see that concentration in that high level of OI, I like your chances of writing above that or even a strike below, because the amount of supply at those specific levels is definitely outweighing the demand, and you have to take that into consideration. So that's why we have these printed up, and I'm looking forward to getting right involved with those. I know his name's going to come to me a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, someone we were talking about it, just the options writing on Friday. You weren't here. Okay. He's like, yeah, just close the position. And I'm like, yeah, I typically preach just the fact that if you collect 75% of the premium in a short period of time, and it's a further dated, you may as well just close that and then just reopen the position once again on a later date. And it's literally like a prime time scenario. This is exactly what you're looking for. So you close it, you get that gap up. So over the weekend, you have Bitcoin trading higher, and then those premiums are worth the exact same thing on which you closed them on Friday, but you've already collected 75%. Do you ever write naked calls above the call? Well, no, I don't write naked, no. Because essentially, like, again, you need to have the amount per contract, right? They won't, even if you're trying to hedge it or anything like that, so it won't be naked. You need to have the complete value just in case you do get assigned, even though that's not the case. But some brokers won't allow you to write unless the complete amount of capital is in the account. So yeah, other than that, guys, I'm sitting on my hands right now. We had those couple opportunities. We go 1 for 3, shooting 33% on the day, and we're still green. Pardon me? I can't hear you. Oh, okay, all right.
Just before we do the ad read, Joey, people want to know you don't trade options tarp off, right? Naked shorts are different.
Yeah, I could at home. We could do a little tarp off. We could do tarp off.
All right, guys, we really need to tell you about something important, because TraderTV Academy is coming soon, very, very quickly here, and it's really going to benefit a lot of people in the chat. We're talking about the pre-launch, baby. TraderTV Academy. We have been working relentlessly on bringing this to you. It is very much requested and soon to be ready. We'll be covering the stuff we can't always fit into the live stream, like your mindset, your psychology, your risk management. Whether you're a newer trader or an experienced trader, there's always something valuable for you in it. Trader Academy, guys, stay tuned for more information. Make sure you are subscribed and following us on our social media platforms so you don't miss out when we're launching. Guys, this is our stuff over here. This is real trading, not anybody else that we're doing a collaboration with. This is all in-house stuff. It's made by myself, the Katina Man, Neil, with a lot of obviously assistance from the back office people. So it's going to be coming real soon. It's with real trading, and we're super excited. We think you guys are really going to get a lot of benefit out of it, because it's really more educational. And the stuff that Joseph and I, we can talk about it very briefly during the slower times of the day. But if you're looking for a more nuanced explanation about all the real trading details, gateways, as I mentioned, many of the different things, mindset, psychology, make sure to stay tuned for that. Trader TV, baby. It is by Real Trading. We're talking about the campus program. Corey Ewing, Sharief, my guy, got beat down last week. Thanos beat Hulk in Infinity Wars. Nasty. New week is ASST. A good play long, Joe. Pizza options look good. Thinking about January 16th, 5250. Call your thoughts. We'll do one at a time. Thank you very much to Corey. Let's take a look at AST. Just trying to bring in the side chart, and I'm trying to leave you guys in suspense there with me saying AST. But there it is. I found it, Joey. I don't know why the drop-down menu is giving me a little bit of an issue here. Let's start, as we always do, with the wider time frame on the daily. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you have this kind of look right now. A very, very beat down here, it looks like. Certainly support right around that dollar. You're back above the dollar. These charts are just so hard to discern because they're beat down so much from local area highs. Let me get a smaller time frame here on the hourly. Give me a moment so I can do a bit of a better local analysis. Certainly here, a buyer at $1.20. You can see the buyer at $1.20. Most of the time it's $1.20, sometimes $1.15, but in and around that 121 high to mid-teens, looking real good. You do have resistance coming up though, Corey, from the later part of October at that $1.75. You can get above that $1.75. You'll be on your way to about 280 or so. I want to say between 250 to 280. Take a gander at that consolidation area low right around 250 with a consolidation area high being around 275, 280. That takes us to the early part of October. The chart I'm looking at there, guys, I didn't put the ticker. I do apologize. ASST. Look, you're on a bit of a local uptrend, Corey, but it's just so beat down from the highs on the daily. Probably behooves, to look at something like I'm doing right now, like the half an hour or the hour chart. Let's take a little bit more of a look. So after that 280 area, we're to 275 area. Where are we looking? Well, we're looking right at 3, man, because there's like a whole bunch of resistance, I want to say in late September at 3. So you're looking at multi-areas, multi-layers of resistance, given what we did, man, in mid to early September when this thing rocketed up to $20, and now it's at $1.59. We'll have to see how this one does, of course, ASST. But before we send it to Joey for him to cover your pizza options, I want to mention that swag is swagging back up to the upside. And this time, we got all our DCAs filled. Joey, that means we have the bottom, the local area bottom. I got 65s on right now. And yeah, 65s, and we've got the beak wet there at 88s. I've got another order posted at 92, and I'm going to put some more up here in the mid-90s. Let's see if they want to trigger. We got 91 showing on the level 2 right now for a possible fill. $3 high. I'm looking for a 3 break and take. Let's see what this one gives us, Joe.
All right, beautiful stuff as always there. All right, guys, yeah, let's take a look at pizza for you there, Corey. I mean, this is my issue. I know this isn't going to be the expiration cycle that you're in. I'm not overly familiar, but you have to be cautious with buyouts just in case, right? Because they push price up to it, and it doesn't do much. So I think there's going to be other opportunities for you to get involved than I further dated. I mean, it's only 67 days away from now, which is crazy to think. But I would honestly. Personally, I would just pass on those calls. If you really want to get involved, just go shares. That way you don't have to worry about it at the money IV or anything along those lines, because it's pretty high, especially for a $50 name sitting around 64.5%, and that's going to be the January expiration cycle. Yeah, what's Meta up to? Okay, yeah, we're sitting around 629. Not too bad of a look, guys. I got involved with Meta. I was talking to Jag earlier, and those who are familiar with it, and I was cheering it on Friday evening. As soon as I seen this print coming, I'm like, oh my days, we have to get involved, because this is exactly what we're looking for. So I'm in at 17s, 617.40 or something is roughly my average. But I love this up into a move to like 670 or something, even 650. I'll look to start taking a little bit off. But Meta, I think Meta is going to be a cash trade. You have your risk profile defined. Obviously, it's more expensive, so you have to give wider stops. But at the end of the day, we like it. 80 calls on Friday for January. Am I in? No, I don't think so. Oh, Zen, you know what you're doing, brother. You got those 80 calls on Friday. Expired. Yeah, you got 2 years on them, brother, and you know what to do. If they're not working right away, just right against them. And that's the beauty about the time. And it's funny because I was taking a hefty hit in those IBIT calls, but then after we get this little bit of a pop, because we were writing before this, and as soon as I knew that I was in trouble with them, I'm like, hey, let's get involved and let's not panic, right? Because usually calmer heads prevail. And that's essentially what happened, is just you're collecting premium. And then when you get a pop not even close to break even, you're essentially ahead, even though you're down on the position. But when the position, and if and when the position goes back to break even, then you're up like $800, $900 just from collecting premium. And that's kind of currently where we're sitting at right now. I am still 5 points out of the money. So I'm just holding something that had intrinsic and extrinsic value to only something that is holding extrinsic value. And that's the beauty of having the ability to hold on to further dated options contracts. Obviously kept your downside in check. But as for what everybody else is saying in the chat, is it okay to trade if I've been...
No, Cletus, it's not.
I mean, it's not ideal.
You can do whatever you want, brother.
At the end of the day, yeah. I mean, but again, you got to understand, switches can definitely turn quick, and you can get frustrated when you are doing those things. We're not going to promote or say that out loud or anything on the show, because I don't think that's the way to go. You have to be more responsible, especially if you're going to be taking it serious, because you'll just have individuals who, like Obi and Wainers and the guys to my right here, who will just blow you out of the water because they're in here doing this every day and are prepared for that. Other than that, guys, I'm looking for a trade. Once again, we're still slightly positive on the session. AMD is starting to head a little bit lower. What is that next potential setup? I'm going to be keeping my eyes out on for something, Sharief, just in case we get a bounce. But one more thing before we send it over, potential head and shoulders on the 5-minute on NVDA. Keep an eye out on this one, guys. Shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2 being formed. If that pre-market support level gives, there might be some more downside in Jensen and Company.
All right, guys, Move is breaking out. Move is rocketing up. It just printed the official high of the day. It's still below the pre-market high, mind you, which I think did get into 1889 is the pre-market high. This thing is rocketing up, guys. 1734. Show me 25s now. And the reason I brought it up, I want you to look at that red. See that red right there where it says LULD? That's limit up, limit down. So that's showing me where the halt level is based on the time and the price action. I love this. So that's what Neil was talking about right there. That is going to be limit up, limit down. So I put it in red so you guys could see it and so I can see it too. To give me an idea where the halt parameters are as a small cap trader. This is fantastic stuff. I have been dreaming about this for 5 years. I know that some other platforms have it. I think Lightspeed has it or something like that. One of those platforms there that's used by retail traders that trade small caps. Anyway, right now we're seeing limit up at 1820. If I see limit down at 1489 right now, as you can see those kind of peek their head from the bottom. They're very, very, very pumped about this this new feature over here. So MOVE is the ticker. Let me give you information on it. It's up 240%. The reason I'm not going to get involved is because it's below the pre-market high. And I don't care if this thing is rocketing up off zero. If I'm just going to follow my rules from here on in with really no exceptions to be made. MOVE, if it trades above $19 and I like what I'll see, I'll get involved. If it doesn't, I'm not getting involved. 1489 now, the halt parameter to the downside. We're dropping like flies over here after printing the new high day 1734. So let's see if we can see another little quick glance there at the limit down 1489 coming again. We're still trading about a dollar higher at 1568. There's a buyer here at 68. He just got decimated. 59's now dropping. MOVE, very volatile but very good on the day. When did you get these LULD parameters? You haven't had these before. No, Nate. We got them. We got the email telling us we were getting them last week. I thought they were supposed to go live on Thursday. They didn't. I think they went live on Friday, if my memory serves me right. Even if they didn't, they're live now, as you can see them. So we're pumped to have them. And obviously I'll be calling them out for you guys as well. No question about that. Back to swag over here, right back up into 85. Look, this feels like a consolidation area buildup for a $3 break. You're above the volume weighted average price. You're above the 10 EMA, and generally you're putting in higher lows. So I've built my position into this. Let's see if it can pop up into the mid-90s. I have a couple of new profit takers in the low to mid-90s over here for an eventual move into 3. That's what my thinking is. We'll see if we get it on that. Yes, RGTZ, I want to mention as well. I know your boy Joey Options had a good couple of looks there on some of these quantum names, but I'm trading them more as small cappers. I know they're not, but I did pretty good with them on Thursday. So RGTZ or Z right back into the 10 EMA, and it really hasn't done much below the 10 EMA on the day anyway, at least not after 10 o'clock. So I want to see, does it catch a bit of a bid here? If it doesn't, I'm certainly looking at that 17 to 17.15 area. Take a look at these topping till candles and the implied balance open that breach 17. And I also happen to like 17 because it's a closing print from Friday. So up 3.25% right now, but not really a whole lot to report on RGTZ or Z, Joey. So we're going to keep tabs on that. And here we go. Swag. Let's go, Swaggy. Swag. I would like that print above 90, baby. We're waiting here at 92. The first time the Blue Jays won the World Series.
Yeah, 92.
92. So
Yeah,
we'll see if we can get that there. Jameson, IONQ. Probably a similar look, brother, to Rigetti and QBTZ, but we'll have a look at IONQ for you. All right. Let's take a look at Ionic, Joey. Okay, that's the hourly. That's not what we want. We want the 5. Yeah. So basically, it's doing the opposite of what RGTZ is doing, where it's kind of breaching the 10 EMA from the top, from down to up, whereas RGTZ just lost the 10 EMA from up to down. You said uh-oh on something. What's going on?
I don't think I did.
Caught something?
No, I don't know. I don't think I did. I say anything?
I don't think
I did.
All right.
Maybe I did.
In either way, Joey can figure out whether he said or not for a second. We're going to go to Adara.
Okay, send it over to Adara. We got to get back here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're going to do our crypto segment here, and I want to talk about an individual by the name of Jim Chanos. This is also, he's involved here with Synecos Capital, and Jim Chanos is an avid short seller. Now, the reason I bring him up with regards to crypto is because he confirmed on X on Saturday morning that he and his group have unwound their Bitcoin treasury short. Now, what that means is they were basically trading MSTR and Bitcoin as a hedge. They short MSTR, long Bitcoin was the play. Well, apparently, as of Friday morning, they had ended that trade. Again, this was confirmed a day later by Jim Chanos on X. So interesting look there. The exit of this MSTR short. We did have a nice pop up here on MSTR on Friday, which is, again, the day that the short was unwound. But today, pushing back lower here for MSTR and quite a lot of these Bitcoin names. I want to talk about Bitcoin itself, which is holding nice support here on that 104.6 level on the 3-minute. We'll move over to the daily for BTC to give another picture. And BTC in the daily continuing to have some lower highs and lower lows from that all-time high around 126,000. However, pretty clear support here around 99,000. Let's see how BTC fares now that we're back above the 105K level for now. Back to you.
It's pretty. It's so pretty.
Shout out Young Will.
Into the 310 high, Joseph Options.
Yes,
we
man.
got swag at 310 high. That is the break of 3. Alas, you want to guess if it's above or below 3 right now? Don't look.
Above.
Nah, Joey. Oh, you're right. It just moved above 3. Anyway, zigging and zagging with 3. We haven't cleared the level currently yet.
Absolutely, man. Man, you got it. Hold on there.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
It's Bite Sub Box. All right, let's pull it up here and see what we got going on. Bart Simpson. Yeah, I'm always thinking out loud, I guess, man. There's weird stuff going on up in this thing, but you got to think, guys. I'm sitting here doing this stuff. I can't be that normal now, can I? Aside from that. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we got going on here in the algo. Picked up the beautiful signal here on NVDA through these lows. This is what we're looking for. So a good look here on this one. As soon as I seen that print, you have to head over to the algo and see what we got going on, and it's been pretty good so far. 50% accuracy, the performance not too bad, and from September to where we're currently sitting at, we'll take it all day, every day. What happened on October 21st? We seen this one beautiful 2-to-1 price target. Okay. So this is exactly what we want to see. Can we get involved with some Bitcoin? Rusty says he doesn't want to until the break of 107. Well, let's pull up the actual. I like Rusty, man.
I like Rusty.
Yeah, I like Rusty. So essentially what we got going on here, I'll remove this because that was just the bites to bucks. We'll head over to that one there momentarily. And then sure enough, we just set the alerts. It allows us, it identifies the signals that we want, and then we can base trades off it. That's the absolute beauty of this thing. But as for the Bitcoin, Adara, I actually watched the just like the segment with that individual that you had up earlier who closed his MSTR short. He wasn't the biggest fan of Michael Saylor. Jim, yeah. He wasn't the biggest fan of Michael Saylor and company. He's just saying everything he's got going on is financial gibberish. And you know what, I tend to agree with him a little bit, but he has closed that short. I'm sure that cooked up pretty well for him. But what is that telling us? Is he more bullish in Bitcoin? Well, if you're not bullish and you think that it's going to go to 75K, go ahead and short it. Let me know how you do on that one. And if not, it's true.
I like it, bro.
Yeah, go ahead,
You're so
man.
combative. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think that that it's going to tank, go ahead and short it and let me know, and we'll see if we'll have this conversation a year from now. Yeah, exactly. So here it is, guys. Once this downtrend is snapped and you have the ability to sit on top of it from a daily standpoint, I like our chances of a recovery, but right now nothing is indicating that we're ready to break it. There is some nice holds around that 98 level, 98,000. Other than that, this could just be a breath. There is multiple volume VPA signals that say we might get a bit deeper of a bounce than what I'm looking for. What do you see?
I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay, send it to me. Yeah, okay, so there, serious, there you go, there you go. Short it in the meantime, man.
Yeah, bro.
Short it in the meantime.
Yeah, you saw what I'm talking about, right?
Exactly. So that's just kind of the narrative of what I'm going on, and once this does break, I like our chances of potentially heading towards that all-time high. Who knows how long that's going to be from now? Chances are it's going to be significantly longer than what we're anticipating. My issue is that you see this consolidation without no continuous appreciation is this. I don't want to go through another 8 months of just trading within a 10, 15K range.
Tell him,
but
Joey.
Considering this is drastically higher, it's that 20 to 25K range, that's not what I'm looking for here in Bitcoin. We want it to break out. Yeah, I know, long after 107, I agree with you. I think that's going to correlate with the break of this trend there, Rusty. So again, you'll be into this resistance zone that was acting as prior support. So that floor has broken, but north of that, I think we can get rocking and rolling for sure. And also, I was listening to Crypto World earlier on Friday. A bunch of analysts did reiterate their price targets on the asset itself, going from 165 to 126 by the end of the year. I mean, I'll take 126, 130 all day. But again, the time is really starting to tick here on this one. Adara, what do you got?
Keep an eye here on Pfizer PFE pushing lower with a decent volume here on the day. FDA reportedly allowing for a cheaper version of Pfizer's Premarin to be sold. So again, looks like a copy of a Pfizer drug is being allowed for sale here by the FDA. If I get more info, I'll let you know. But also keep an eye here. Comments from Senate Majority Leader Thune saying that he's looking forward to taking up more appropriations bills soon, and that he believes that the voting on the stopgap package is in the, quote, very near future. Back to you.
That look like to you right now? What's that 270 level look like? Is it heavy? Is it real heavy?
There's some volume there. But that's
how
this
can you
week.
gauge resistance using the puts there?
Well, you'd want to gauge resistance using the calls.
The calls?
Yeah.
Why can't you gauge resistance using puts?
Well, because that's floor. You would want to look for a potential bounce off the puts, right?
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd want to look for like high levels of OI on this and
on the call side.
On the call side,
that's
right?
That's the highest there is there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so 1680 at 280, and then also there's 13.7 at 270.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. That's not like, I mean, that can be absorbed, no problem in AAPL.
Joey, I know I asked you, so I don't know why I'm interrupting you, but I have to because Move is flying. Move is just killing it, guys. 1869 high. It's about to take out the pre-market high. Now it's in play for me if it can take out the level 1889. There's the halt perimeter, 1870. Let's see if this is a false halt. 1870 right now. It's going to halt at this level. 1869 technically, because we have to look at the bid side for up halts. It is now halted to the upside. MOVE. Wow. Here we go. 291. Neil, this is the one that I've been using the limit up, limit down on. I'm sure you, as you can imagine, I was just letting Neil know that the LULD, the limit up, limit down, the halt parameters that we've been talking about, we have now on our system have been working clean on MOVE, especially if you highlight the gateway and you're able to see it, because you know how the level 2 moves super crazy. Hard to keep your eyes fixated on it. Anyway, 1869 high. Let's get down to business. Halt time, 11:37:58. The earliest this will be open is 11:42:58. Let's see if it opens up after 5 or what the situation is. The current cap, about 31 pennies higher than where we halted, $19 on the dot, having halted at 1869. So this one is certainly in play. I needed to get above the pre-market high. Now, we've seen this story before where something works into its pre-market high, maybe even clears it by a shekel or two, and then that's the end of the trade as the shorts look for that pre-market high to get off. or to get the mean reversion short in the same way that I'm looking at it for a reason to get into the trade. So they're looking at sort of the contra-positive of that. Keep your eye out on it. I'm not going to execute until I like what I see. If that means it's above 19, maybe even 20, so be it. For the moment, we're going to focus on Swaggy Swag over here, SWAG, continuing to put in higher lows, higher general area lows into that $3 area now. It's a 310 high, but it's spent all of no time above $3. There is certainly a staunchy resistance level at $3 that we can't seem to shake on a closing basis. We have wicked above it, but that is as good as we could do. And I don't know, for whatever reason, the spread is opening up on this. 4 pennies now tightening up back into 2, but there's certainly a seller at 3. Let's see if we can get up into, I'm looking for 17s next, right? I might decide to take some profits a little bit below that level, but that is where my next order is on SWAG. There's not a whole lot else to talk about, quite frankly, other than MOVE and SWAG. A couple of the other ones that I had on my watch list over here. One second. What the hell is happening? There we go. For small caps, VCIG's breaking down below VWAP, no longer of interest to me. PSNL can't reclaim VWAP. VERO looks like absolute hot garbage, having tried to reclaim VWAP at around 1020, 1030, it lost it. Pizza, though. Pizza's still in play, man. Much more expensive of a name. It's coming into that 10 EMA. The 10 EMA is currently at 46.50. We're showing 46.80. It's been awfully respectful of said 10 EMA. It hasn't breached it, basically since it got that big gap up at around 1030. VWAP on Pizza is right around a little bit below 46. I want to say 45. Here's the 10 EMA now on Pizza. All right, so did wick below it, but trying to trade above it. Let's see if Pizza wants to get back above 48 bucks. It's double top at 48.75. We'll keep a close eye on that one. So that's my look right now. We're going to continue to watch Swag and continue to watch Move. Coach Britt, look at IRWD. Let me take a look, brother. IRWD, says Coach Britt.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
What's wrong, Joey?
No, I did.
Oh, this is a good look, man. This is a really good look. We're going to take off that hot garbage VERO, and we're going to put in IRWD. Just before we go to Adara, this company, what does this thing do? They are Ironwood Pharmaceuticals. It's an earnings report, $439 million market cap, fits the criteria. We're going to keep an eye out on this. Thank you, Coach Britt, for pointing this out. Adara.
Yeah, keep an eye on Meta, Alphabet, and Oracle, and also potentially Microsoft in sympathy for OpenAI. Basically, I'm seeing some reports here. Apparently, Wall Street Journal has reported that senators are criticizing Meta, OpenAI, Alphabet, and Oracle in an open letter, apparently requesting answers from the companies with regards to high power prices with AI. So again, META and ORCL and Alphabet looks like all subject to this open letter from senators, again, as reported by Wall Street Journal. Back to you.
Yeah. Did you see that drop?
No.
Look at what Pizza did, man. I hope nobody was trying to buy or take a bite out of this. This was ugly, double top, 475. All hell breaks loose to 43.50. Come on, bro. And now it's trying to work back above VWAP. Yeah, Pizza is on Uncle Sheriff's shit list. No, we're not touching this. This is absolute hot garbage, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to get out of that. Same thing is, like, as soon as I hopped in this, I'm like, wait, what am I doing here? We'll get out of that one immediately, right away. A lot of overlapping this channel.
Move
trading.
open.
Go ahead.
No. I just want to let everybody in. Move's open.
Move's open?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, there it is, guys. I'm out. I took it and then I thought about it once again. I'm like, wait, what am I doing? I don't want to sit in this chop garbage of what NVDA is currently doing. I want to find something that is a little bit more clean and has a more sure trajectory. Can that be the overall market off of these lows? Possibly, but boom, selling pressure stepping right back in. I mean, NVDA can work, but I don't want to be shorting this name because at any given moment, you just strike a deal here and there, and the next thing you know, you're blown out of the water. So we just get out of that one, break even. There's this resistance zone in Bitcoin that's holding up, guys. So this could be a potential short. Watch out for this floor to break around 59. This is a big time gap up, and just when you have an asset that's kind of in a world of uncertainty, the chances of it getting filled are substantially higher. And there goes NVDA to the downside. I mean, we would have been slightly in the money, but again, I want no part. I don't want that smoke. I'll be honest. Yeah, I don't mind take it on some smoke, but that smoke I do not want whatsoever. As for SPY, a nice little bounce off of these lows. Let's see if we can get these 5-minute candles to print exactly how we're looking right now. So Apple off of those lows continuously bleeding. What a massive run up to here. And then essentially these pullbacks are just tiny micro breaths. So that's not fun. Puts on SPY and at QQQ, says Ganj. I don't know all the way down here. You can. Don't forget, man, there's more ways than just like buying puts and stuff that you can be being profitable. Like range trading. Let's take a look at actually what we got going on. Like condors could be a potential setups. If those legs aren't working, then by all means, like a 93 and a 123, even though that's relatively wide, the IV is going to be up, so you can collect a little bit more premium, and then you just don't have to necessarily have a directional bias. And that's the beauty of essentially writing calls as well, too. In a position that may already be established is that I don't care if it goes up or down. If it just continues to move in the trajectory that it currently is, we can make some cash off that. We can make some passive income. And that's the really key thing that drove me to options, just the versatility of these assets. All right, we have to take this opportunity here, Sharief. Whether it works or not, that's irrelevant to me. The signals are there. Do I take TQs or do I take SPY? I'm going to go with no, I'm not going with I Spy My Little Eye. Remember those books? Those were great books back in the day. So let's get involved here in some TQs to the long side. Our stop is really tight. So if it does come and establish a new low of the day, we'll hop out and just see what we got going on. Look for a new potential entry, but I have to take this setup here because the signals are displaying themselves. Consecutive selling, now you have that indecision print at an extreme low. Let's see if we can get a bounce. I've told you guys for a while now that my accuracy on the TQs has been absolutely horrendous. Why? I have no idea. But if we do get those levels, if it doesn't get that bounce, then I'm going to suspect that we're going to fill a little bit more of this gap here, Sharief.
I took a quick scalp on move, but it's just, still at that level. It's above $19, don't get me wrong, but it's still very thickly traded. It's up 304%. And the spread is ridiculous. It's like 18 pennies right now. I've seen it as wide as 30 and 40. So trade this one carefully, guys. It's looking real good. This is trading near the highs, that's why. But yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this one. RGTZ is rocketing back up, which means RGTI is headed to the downside quite aggressively. Look at that beautiful two candle setup through the 20, both of which closed above the 20. And the second bottoming tail candle had a higher low. So this one you could have taken easily in the first 5-minute candle will make a new high. But yeah, that is now gone. Keep your eye on that high a day. I want to bring this one to your attention, man. IRWD. This is looking real good. It was not tradable for me because it was trading below the volume weighted average price when I sat down. Now it's worked its way above, and it's also cleared pre-market highs. It's cleared the implied balance high at 930, and now it's printed the official new high day 276. It's up 40%, 39.6%. Got an inverse hammer candle right now looking to manifest here on the 5. I happen to love the higher low, higher high situation that remains unbroken since 10:30. So that is an hour and 15 minutes of unbroken higher lows on this bad boy. IRWD, if you're a small cap trader, deserves your attention there. So we'll be looking to execute on that if it comes into an appropriate area. What are those appropriate areas? I got a couple of areas here that I really like. I like that 260 all the way down to 250. Reason I say that is because there's only one candle that actually closed above 250 cleanly, and that's this candle right there at 10, and then it was preceded by an aggressive downtrend on the day, which actually made the official low of the day at 231. So if it comes into that prior area of resistance, I'm talking about 260 to 250, I'm a buyer. We're going to look for this one to hold generally the 20. Why do I say that when my rule is VWAP? Because VWAP here looks like more of a line of best fit rather than a line of support or resistance. It fits like nicely in the middle of the price action. So what the hell am I going to use that for as a support or resistance level? Go ahead.
Yeah, we got to talk about this AAPL bottom that we just picked up here. Bang, let's go, man. A nice move to the top side on Apple. Oh, we're cooking up on this one. We went full size as well too, Sharief, on this one. So bang, we'll lock a little bit in there and let's see if we can get the TQs to start following with it. I'm going to hold this trade. Why was I long? Nice indecision print off of these lows. I don't mind getting out prematurely, to be honest with you, considering that this downtrend is still intact, but I like what we're seeing here on AAPL, a nice little grab. But if it continuously rejects, I'm going to have to hop out of that one. Sorry to interrupt you, Sharief.
No, of course, brother. That's important what you're talking about there. Kelving's GTS, thank you, my brother, for the $5 super chat. Hey, boys, just wondering if my PL, my profit and loss, is holding steady green, Meta, MP, Donkey Kong, DKNG, of course, DraftKings, SoFi, while Q's dropping, should I hold for the rebound? That is a great question, brother. I would associate Meta a lot more with the Qs than I would MP, DKNG, and SoFi. I would throw SoFi maybe a little bit more with the Meta group and leave MP and DKNG as sort of less market related. That's just my take on things. You have MP up 8.5% on the day. Neil, tell me you picked that up off the 200. I know you picked that up off the 200, man. Because he said to me, he looked the other day, I asked Neil, what's your plan for MP as it bled? And he's like, look, I'm not tripping. My plan is exactly what it always is. I like it off a key area of support. We all know Neil was a 200. Picked it up off the 200 and take a look at what it did on Friday, right into the 200. So my boy's printing there.
Nice.
So anyway, MP up 8.5% when you have the Mag 7 kind of giving back the ghost. So I would associate Qs, maybe some SoFi with that. I would less associate DKNG with MP. What would you say to him there if he's, holding those non-Q names, one Mag 7 name in that batch, as he watches the Qs drip down?
That's such a great question.
Yeah,
I think it's like pretty difficult. The way that I would look at it is that, again, I've been in this situation before, is that you're just constantly looking for that rebound to get back to the profit that you had earlier. And sometimes if it continues to bleed, you may not get there. So you have to be accepting of what you are willing to do. So I would just write it down, and regardless of the scenario or the situation that happens after, if you stick to the plan, then I think you'll be okay. But if you hold on to it and you don't get that rebound and it continues to bleed and you watched your unrealized just continuously dwindle minute by minute, then you're going to be like, oh, I should have took it. So in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit out and then just assessing the situation, leaving some for a runner. And if it comes back to your break even, throw in a trailing stop or something along those lines that allows you to lock in a certain amount of profit that you're comfortable with. That's the best answer I can personally give you. Again, you got to manage your own account at the exact same time, but I appreciate the question. I don't know why I'm saying that, but anyways, again, just write it down, manage it, follow the game plan, and if it works, it works. And if not, put in a trailing stop, and then you keep some of the profits regardless of what's going on. Extracting money from the market isn't easy, and when you have the ability to do so, it may not always be what you're looking for, but if you go from like $1,000 trade to something that's like $650 or $500, you'd be like, oh, what about that $500? No, be happy with that $500 because you just took that from somebody at the end of the day. So I mean, that's the way I'm going to specifically look at that, and hopefully you have the best there, Kelvin. So yeah, that's what we got going on. But as for Apple, if we can break this 692 level, I think we're going to be okay. We got a nice pop in the TQs, but then that started to fade as well too, and then now it's going aggressive to the downside, so not too good. I was thinking, do I just take some out here at that 110 level and then just say AC Slater to it? It would have been the smarter play, but it's the exact same scenario I think that Kelvin was just mentioning is, do I take it or do I allow it to continue to bleed? And I made the choice to not take some out there at that level, and sure enough, I just watched all my unrealized go slightly negative now, Sharief.
All right, guys. I want to mention a couple things. Move obviously is halted to the downside. Halt time 11:50:18. It is currently. I want to give you the exact time so we can know when to expect. Currently 11:53:25. So the earliest we will be open. The earliest doesn't mean we're going to open. 11:55:18. So we got a little bit less than 2 minutes to go for that reopening there. I also want to mention pizza. You know, it's on my crap list right now, but here's the deal. You got a triple bottom off the 50 exponential on the 5. Are they exact levels? Low 43.50 on the 1140 candle. Low 43.50 on the 1145 candle. Uh-oh. Low 43.58 on the 1150 candle. There is a buyer at 43.5. That is very aggressive, and those are outlying size candles. Look at these. They very, these last 3 candles here are very much prominently above the dearth of volume that we have here, basically from 10:45 until 11:40, almost an hour worth of green candles, but lower volume, that is. It is below VWAP, so I won't be trading it, but I am alive to the fact that there is a buyer here at 43.50, at least for the last 15 minutes or so on pizza. We're keeping tabs on that one. IRWD continues to melt up. It's 2 pennies off that high a day, and it didn't even come close, man, to 260. So here's the deal. I'm just gonna put my orders in for IRWD at the areas that I like. So we can't take off swaggy swag. There we go. So we're gonna throw in some dip trades here. And look, I'm gonna front run the level. 260 is the level I like, but you know how it is. It's a crowded trade there. So we're gonna go ahead and wait at 62s. And look, if it loses 60, that's fine with me. I like it to 50. I've made that point very clearly. So we're going to go ahead and wait a little bit lower as well for some money fills. So IRWD up 42%. Couple of pennies off the day high. We're going to look for a dip trade on this one. Now, let's get to swag. Because swag is still above VWAP, but it's got an unbroken trend right now. Ever since putting in that high day at 310 where we took a print, it has been 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're currently in the 5th candle of lower highs. Not every candle manifested in lower lows, but that's a pretty prolonged downtrend. That's the bad side. The good side is still trading above VWAP. So I'll keep my eye on it. We don't have the biggest position left right now. I don't mind adding, right? If I see what I like, I don't have to add at the lows, and that's something else that I need to come to grips with, right? I need to add at the opportune times. Those opportune times may take some time to be able to see, right? Because I don't know what's coming next. You guys know I like to get in, especially on a downtrend, on the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. And we haven't seen that quite yet. And it has to be a green candle to make a new high, not a red candle. So let's see what we get, man. If ends up breaking the lower high trend, I'll add in a swaggy swag for maybe even a 350 touch. Who knows where this goes? So that's my move there. Move is open, and I know the boy Ozan has been looking at this one. He's like, he wants to move it. Yeah, I got the joke, Ozan. I like it too, but you know this one is quite a bamboozler. The 10 EMA on the 5, Joey 17.25. It's showing 18.5 right now.
Let's go, ho 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 oh. Yes, let's go, man. This is what we're, yeah, man. Off the TQs, off of those lows. We like that little pop. Same thing here with AAPL, guys. Now we're starting to cook up a little bit of a storm here. Where is it? Boom, on this one. So we're not going to complain whatsoever. I said we may not be the deepest pullbacks, but we'll take this all day as we're getting the pop specifically and what we're looking. You got something you're cooking up over there too,
we're
brother?
$1 in the money on move, bro.
Just like that,
Just
like that.
Just like that.
Hold on.
There you go.
This is a pretty good, man. Off of these bottoms, I'm going to take that all day. I'm going to hold on to this Apple. I have a little bit more confidence in Apple than in the TQs. But if they're both going to continue to grind, I'm going to sit in this. Until the lows are broken, I like our chances. Considering this downtrend in Apple is aggressive, can we get that elastic effect in that snapback? Maybe, possibly. So snap back to reality. Oops, there goes Rabbit.
Crazy.
I know that is crazy. I don't know anything else after that point there, Sharief. But hey, let's sit into this one. We have more shares here left in AAPL than what we do in the TQs, just because I have a little bit more confidence in it. I'm going to take a little bit more out over onto the TQs here, guys. So right now, it's been a solid, oh my days, get it together, my guy. And there it is. We're going to take some more off. Boom, boom. And we'll take another 30 off on that front and see if we can catch that print there, Sharief. Other than that, there we go. You're cooking up. I'm cooking up. Let's rock and roll.
All right, Joey. 1920. There it is again. Sorry, I have to send it to you. Oh my God, it's so quick.
Oh yeah, send it.
No, it's fine. There we go. There we go. Let's post up some here on move into the high side. It's going to have to hold 1875 into 1936. It goes. We got 20s on right now. Let's see. There's a seller at 20 here. Can't shake them, so we're going to have to give back some here unless we get a nice price spike up above 19, 19, 19 showing again. So now we're getting 1 penny lower every time. That is my invitation to get the hell out of that. Okay? Because it was a 1920 seller initially, and then it comes in to 1919. So I know that algo is selling more aggressively. Ooh. So right now, current bar low on this one, just allow me a second to find out. Current bar low, 1755. That is a ways away from the 19 area that we're trading at. We just took out that seller now. Let's see if we can shake this buyer over here into 16s. What do you got, Joey?
All right, man. This is some good stuff that we got going on over here, boys. As the TQs are starting to rebound here on this one, right off of those lows, lots of indecision prints across the board. Gorev, oh my God, there goes TQs one more time, man. Another big pop, guys. I'm just slowly running out of shares here, but that's okay. We'll take a little bit more off as we get that pop to the top side, and then we're gonna have to take a little bit more off on AAPL. But we wanna leave a little bit for a runner as well, too, guys, just in case, bang. So we catch another fill there. Some good stuff on TQs and on AAPL, grabbing that bottom. So we shoot 50% accuracy on Apple here, and nicely green on that one. And with unrealized, that is, and then the TQs as well, too. We go 1 for 1 on that. So not too bad of a look. If things start to come back into the break even, we're just going to hop out of the trade. No worries. We've extracted some profits of this one. So other than that, some news might have just hit the market. We're getting a little bit of a volatility spike. But guys, it's happening now. And then Neil with the lesson of the day.
Ooh. Happening now is in fact happening right now. Let's take a look here at this market, which is trying to form a little bit of a base over the last two 15-minute candles. Not a lot of economic data. We've had some Fed speak. Fed's Myron, as usual, being one of the more dovish members, saying that he thinks there should at least be a 25 basis point rate cut in December. So he still believes that a 50 basis point cut would be appropriate for December. The other thing that's really been in watch here is the U.S. government shutdown. Now, here's how the market's moved over the last 5 shutdowns in over the last 3 decades. We don't have this most recent shutdown's performance yet because it hasn't yet ended, though the ending could be near. Most recently that I was seeing, some Republicans are expecting we're going to get the most recent shutdown vote on Wednesday. So again, could be Wednesday we get a little bit more resolution or update for the shutdown. I also have to talk about a post made by Michael Burry, known, of course, for his short with regards to the housing market back in 2007, 2008. He shared this post probably 10, 15 minutes ago saying that quote, massively ramping capex through purchase of Nvidia chips and servers in a 2 to 3 year product cycle should not result in the extension of useful lives of compute equipment, but saying that's exactly what the hyperscalers has done. He believes that these hyperscalers are going to be understating depreciation by $176 billion from 2026 to 2028. He also said by 2028, Oracle's going to be overstating their earnings by roughly 27%, Meta by roughly 21%, and that it actually gets worse. He'll be providing more details on November 26. So once again here, Michael Burry expressing some skepticism when it comes to AI. I also want to talk, speaking of AI, about CoreWeave, CRWD, reporting earnings after the bell tonight. You can see this infographic of it clearer on X at TTV Research, and Neil and myself will be covering this report after the bell on our market recap show. Now, before we send you over to Neil, the man himself, we'll take a moment to thank our friends at Oragenics. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Oragenics, or OGE, and is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more, schedule a meeting today, and don't go anywhere, guys, because Neil's here with this lesson of the day. Neil, give the people that lesson.
Thank you, Adara. It's an interesting point by Mr. Burry. The thing about it is, you might be right, but it also might not matter. But that's not the lesson of the day. You know, the lesson of the day comes down to, okay, sometimes the market, if you're with trend, it's easy if you're with the trend, but you have to look at the pattern that's happening in the market if you want to try to go counter trend. There were some ridiculously huge opportunities in terms of like mean reversion today. But I want to point out just one pattern that is a crux of this lesson of the day. Today, the market had gapped up and was along until it broke trend on a 15-minute at 10:45. On Friday, it was trend down until it broke trend. Now there's the bottom, but it doesn't really break trend until 12:30. On Thursday, it would be this candle, 12:30. If you go the day before that, doesn't break trend until 3:30 in the afternoon on an uptrend day. The day before that, the trend break happens at 10:45. And then I'll go back another day, 10:30. I could do this pretty much all day long, but in the last week or so, you have not had a reversion in the market. At the earliest, you're looking 10:30, 10:45, and some examples in the middle of the day, and then one where it's the end of the day. And what that kind of tells you is, at least in that early rush, in that first 5 or 10 minutes, if you don't have any quick setups, finding something on trend for the short term might be something you can hide in or don't trade at all until you get that mean inversion trade, if that's what you're looking for. Because if you're like myself and you want to find an opportunity, like I wait until we get to that time where you might find a trend break. And obviously I wish I had shorted Intel, but I wait until we're past that market time to look for a reversion. But there's another way to play into that. And was sort of the two things that you would have seen me in for majority of the day. One, silver, which regardless, this one broke its downtrend early and then was relatively strong the rest of the way. So until it breaks trend, it's a long. I think eventually it can be a short. But then I got an assist from all of you guys, which were pointing out, if you want to look something counter trend to the market, then look for something which is moving in the opposite direction, and don't worry about trying to short when the pop is going to stop. Just short something that's already weak. And we mentioned this with SMCI and Intel. So if I want to go to the south side, there's always something weak or there's always something strong, right? If you like the long today, almost regardless, I think Open Door was probably good for you. If you like the short today, Intel and SMCI were a couple of examples. Oscar would have been something you could have gone short in. But when the market is showing you that the reversions take a while, then you have to be willing to hide somewhere else and take those shots, because this was the spot to go into shorts in the strong things. And then when this bottom happened, I saw Joe was in Apple. When this bottom happened and you break that trend, we get volume, that's when it's time to revert in the other direction. And the futures are a really good help for that. But we're in a market where we go trending for a little bit, for like an hour or so after every single open for the last week and a half. And that makes it really tricky because you can be in love with the reversal when we gap up, but it's going to be trying. It's going to require something patience out of you. And that's why I like to use things like a trend line. Because that way, once it sets up, it's pretty clear. I'd probably only look at this and say, okay, there's two places. There's when it had the cleanup trend at the open, that pulls into VWAP. This is a longer trend break that actually gets you to the low of the day. What that gives you is a chance to wait for something to happen. I have to wait for a trend to form that's strong, and then you have to wait for it to break. You have to wait for a trend to show that's strong, and then you have to wait for that trend to break. Now, obviously, it'd be nice to have that one to the long side, but when you know that the market in most days is doing something in particular, in this particular case, it's not distinctly breaking trend until later in the day to get back to the lows or back to the highs, depending on which way it's going, then you have to have an execution strategy which is much more patient than normal. Or you're jumping into names that are at least going with the trend in the short term so that you can wait out that bigger market move that you might be waiting for. There's no rule that says you have to get a position at 9:30 and then that's going to be I'm in this direction at 9:30 and I'm going to hold this all day and it's going to work forever. That's not how it is. Sometimes you got to wait that one out. Even if you're a morning trader and usually you get your best win in that 9:30 to 10 range, sometimes the market's a little bit different for you and you have to wait it out. And there is nothing wrong with that. So, good luck in your trading. But when you see patterns like this in the futures where it's been trending minimum for an hour every single morning, you can't be jumping the gun on your mean reversion trade just because it used to work in the first 15 or 20 minutes. Hopefully that helps. We'll see if this market can hold on through the volume-weighted average price. So far, the buy the dip is undefeated, and maybe we get back to that 2% after all. By the way, Rivian's a beast. Rivian's a beast. Rivian is a beast.
Jose back there, and he was saying the same thing. So
Yeah. Oh, that
Rivian.
was his number one on the day. He was
Numero
telling me
uno.
first thing in the numero uno. There you go. All right, man. Let's pull it up here.
Pull up.
So I mean, at the end of the day, man, there it is on the TQs. I don't have much left. I have one out left on the TQs, right into the volume weighted average price. I should have posted up, but we catch over $1 on that, move back higher, and then we're still sitting in some Apple as well too, about 20% remaining of that position. But a nice grab off of those lows. Had to take the swing on them, and I'm fortunate enough that we had the ability to catch them. There we go. We caught another fill on AAPL. Never mind what's going on with the TQs. AAPL's definitely been the better trade for us, considering we took a hit on it earlier, now turning this name positive, and we're back nicely on the green, more than what we were up earlier in the day. Have to take some more out on Apple as we put in a new high of the session there, Sharief. I should really post up here. Just because this is really, it's like amateur hour for me doing what I'm doing, because what Sharief does and all the boys do, they have their orders out instead of me just doing a marketable limit and getting them out. I should post so I just catch that fill as soon as the bid. Right. Wow, man, I just hurt my finger on that snap there. That's crazy.
That's a hard snap.
Yeah, it was, man. The finger moved weird and everything along those lines. No, but in all seriousness, guys, a nice rejection in the market of VWAP on the TQs here, like almost to the penny, and now you're starting to come back in. If we can get them to step back in and push it through, I'll take my last out at 111s. If not, I'll hold this for the dream, and maybe we get a break-even stop out. If not, it's break-even or 111. That simple. Not going to micromanage the position, brother.
Bang. Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on Open Door, man. Interesting weekend. So you guys know that I listened to the Compound with Josh Brown and Michael Batnick. They had Eric Jackson on, of course, and he's a fellow Torontonian. You could feel that they were visibly uncomfortable having him on the pod. Josh Brown was manifesting some sort of sweating, and I don't know what the hell was wrong with him, but he was like disheveled and not himself. And Batnick just stayed quiet the entire show because I don't think they really wanted him on there. They don't want that sort of retail, picks up garbage and then takes it to their platform to kind of pump and dump it. I'm not calling open garbage, by the way, very, very clearly. I'm just saying they didn't feel like they were comfortable having him on. That was my perception of things.
Sorry, I didn't hear who was
Eric Jackson.
Oh, okay.
The guy that's been pumping Open Door, the guy that shows up to Drake's house.
Yeah.
So interesting story from that, by the way. So Drake's security, this is Eric Jackson's story on the pod. They noticed him coming every day with his kid to film the videos. Day one of trying to get Drake to buy,
Open Door.
Day two, and they were doing that whole saga. So finally, security is like, guys, they came out and they're shooting like day 5,000. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, what are you guys doing? I've been watching you for the last couple of weeks, coming in every day, and you guys have been talking. Sounds like you guys are talking stocks. We can hear you on the camera system. What's going on? So Eric Jackson started shooting the breeze with the head of security.
Now the security guy's buying Open Door.
And he's trying to tell him it's going to be a possible 10-bagger, and he's like, what's 10-bagger? He's not he doesn't really know stocks too much. He's like, look, you buy this with 10,000 shares, and at 10 bags, you're a millionaire, right? So then all of a sudden, he's like, don't worry. What's that future guy that runs Drake's, he's like his manager or whatever, I don't care. But anyway, he's like, that's the guy you need to talk to. That's the guy who's going to get Drake to come on board, this, that, and the other. Anyway, so he's been texting back and forth with the head of security with the intentions of trying to get Drake to come on. But now the security's motivated. Because he could be in this now. Talk about,
But in all seriousness, Drake's worth $1 billion. He's not going to listen to Eric Jackson.
It's not for the Drake. It's for his entourage. So they can all make money.
Yeah. Or they could all lose a boatload of money, and then next thing you know, they're all after Eric Jackson.
If Drake texts about this or puts it on his Instagram,
you think it has a chance?
I don't think he does it personally because of the repercussions that come with that. But if he does it,
but I mean, what repercussions could there be? Like you had Elon Musk. You had Elon Musk
Kim Kardashian.
Remember that? You had Elon Musk pumping Dogecoin for a while. You had Donald Trump truthing the fact that now's a great time to buy the market.
Remember, like when Brady and all those guys got behind FTX
mad in trouble. Yeah, they got him mad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, FTX was a scam.
By the way, Kim Kardashian failed the bar. Shout out to Kim.
I heard she passed it now. Finally, after the 10th try.
I saw the other day that she failed. failed. And that
I heard she passed it.
I have no idea. I just saw a tweet the other day that she failed.
I mean, good. I like, hey, man. I mean, to each their own. Shout out to
It was from TMZ.
Was it?
So
yeah, I heard she passed. I heard she passed it. No, it just failed. Okay, yeah. You guys. Again, I'm not paying up any attention to what Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians are up to. Listen, Selena watches.
What does she do?
Some reality TV shows, and my brain is just melting. I'll gladly go sit in a corner in my desk and then watch some of these Real Housewives shows. I'll tell you that for free right now. Oh man, it's just like I lose like IQ points, man, watching some of this stuff. Anyways, at the end of the day, guys, let's go AAPL. Let's go TQs. Is this a reload opportunity? Maybe, possibly, but we're taking a lot of outs here on Apple with that rebound. This was a prime time one. Such a subtle signal too, and I'm like, oh, I know what you're up to, you dirty dog, Apple. As it heads towards some key support levels, and it throws in this print right there. I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this one. So that's why we took the stab there, and it worked out perfectly, almost an A1 setup. And we went full size as well too. So we'll take that all day, every day. Market's starting to come back in though, Sharief. The rejection of the volume weighted average price seems to have been that play. Let's pull it up on this chart before we send it back to my boy one more time. And we could also take a look at some of the options chain activity on AAPL. We were looking at it not too long ago, but inverted hammer candle right there. So it's either 111 or break even. If we turn around and hold some of these prior resistance zones and they act as support, this could be a reload opportunity, please.
All right, just worked my way back in a move. There it goes, taking out prints. So this one, it looks like it's finding a bit of support. Let's see, we got 36s on, but we know how this one does. It zigs, it zags. So let's see if we can get that continuation above 17.5, maybe even touch 18 again. Keeping my eye on this one. I also worked into RGTZ, but I'll talk about that one in a second. It's not as volatile as MOVE. Back into 49s, 41 now. 39s, excuse me, 41. There's 40. Let's see if we can get that continuation up. It's not really breaking above the $0.50 all that aggressively. There's 46. There's 48. Let's take out some there. I've still got a print that still hasn't even come close to printing. That's above 50. Let's go ahead and wait up here as well at 88. Looking for another move up here on MOVE, but it just dropped below 16 again, right back above 17. So they're certainly selling everywhere we look. Prior bar low gets me out of the trade 1640. So let's go ahead and throw that bad boy there, and that looks like it's going to stop me out very soon over here. Unless it pops back up. So I put my stop in for MOVE at prior bar low. Let's see if it can continue holding trend or what its situation is going to be. There is 1660, so it is dipping down a little bit here, Joey. Let's see if we can pick it up off a key area of technical support and move right back up. So we have 98s on now. Let's see if we can post up some that a little bit higher than 11s. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out. We'll give back a little bit on this one. It will break trend. 1878, as you can see, the red rectangles come in on my screen. Those are limit up, limit down. So you'll be able to see where the limit or the halt price is on some of these names. So we'll see what we get on that one. Just packing the patience over here to see if this one wants to move back up. I also had some dip trades on IRWD, which did not fill. Where's my RWD trade? Right there. Yeah, it's still hanging out near high, so no fills quite on that one yet. Back above 17 momentarily we go for MOVE, showing 17, 16.99. We got 98s now with that dip trade, but nothing really on the bit side of things above 17, so we'll have to pack our patience there, Joey. Looks like it's got, some decent support here, but well off that 21-23 area high. So we'll be packing the patience there. I don't think I'm going to DCA anymore until it makes the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, and then maybe we'll get some more on a bit of a down there. There it goes, right up above 17. Momentarily we get the fill, but no continuation. No continuation as of yet. I'll get to Rivian. Sorry, Joao. I'll get to Rivian as soon as I'm done my move trade. It's just I can't take my eyes off this thing because it moves too erratically, and I got to be ready to go with this one, Joey. So pack
ready to go. I'm ready to go now. Yeah. Sorry. One more time. Okay, we got it there, Assassino. Whenever you're ready, my friend. Oh, whoa. I don't know what I got going on here. I'm gonna have to try this one more time. Beta Pro 3x daily leverage, guys. Let's see if we can get this up. ready. And now for some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leveraged inverse and inverse leveraged ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more, guys. All right, so we got that reload here on the TQs. Sharief, is there anything you want to cover quick before we? All right, brother, do you think? So here it is. We got that reload here on the TQs. We get another move back into 110.50. We're going to piece a little bit off there, guys, and there it goes. Bang! A nice reload opportunity on the TQs. We'll piece some out there, guys, so not too bad of a look. We did miss this target of VWAP, but that's irrelevant now considering we got the right and correct trade. Can we do a limit up, limit down level 2 with IBKR shutout from Ottawa? That's a great question.
We don't have that.
No, I don't think they have that. Yeah. And you know what? So shout out to SKM613 and shout out to Ottawa, the nation's capital. I just found out the other day when I was trading Blue Ocean that you could do fractal shares now. So you can sell like half of a share or a third of a share or something like that, which I found really, really interesting because I went to go sell a couple when I was doing I forget what it was, DoorDash or another trade, TTD. And I'm like, wait, what? I could sell half a share. I didn't do that because they still charge you the full commission price. But I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. I'll buy that fractional all day, every day. And that's what I did actually with my meta position, is that instead of going the contract route, just too expensive and for the amount of time that I was looking for, I just bought shares and then I just put in a fixed amount and it gave me the fraction of it. So we like that all day. If this comes back into my break even, considering we are now free rolling, my average is going to be on TQ's 39, so that's just below. So not much of this position remaining, and that's why the average hopped up all the way up to here. But it seems to be working for right now. With that being said, you got to piece a little bit more out here. As we put in a new high, let's see if we can catch that fill up there. There it is, bang, another one, sirens, and we'll hit the, like that. No, in all seriousness, guys, I hope everyone's having a pretty good day. It's been all right so far.
All right, one wheeler, y'all got any snap in your long term, about to break the daily 200, and they're doing $500 million buybacks now. I don't like Snapchat personally, so I'm not going to invest anything in it. I've just seen way too much ups and downs on Snap, but let's take a look at the daily and see what our friend One Wheeler is talking about there with respect to the 200. Yeah, it is working its way into that 200. Look, the SMA and the EMA are basically almost at the same level, so I definitely see your point there. I would employ a bit of a different rule. I would employ a 3% or a 3-day rule, quite frankly. And now that I look at it a little bit more, I would employ the 3% rule or some variation thereof. I wouldn't even be employing it, to be quite honest with you. And here's why. Let me just get to it. So look at the amount of times that it's breached the 200 in the past, hung around the 200 for a few days, and dropped. Now, why I said 3% or 3-day? Because, well, if it clears the 200 EMA or SMA by 3%, then you can add it to the position. But this one over here cleared it by over double. That's 6 to 7%. Also was above the 200 by 3 days for several times. Over here, over here, over here. Here was only 2 days. Here it spent 3. This is just not for me. I don't like the company. I don't think they can monetize in the same way that Meta and Google can. And let's cut the crap. They're not going to be an AR company until well down the road. And I don't even think they're the best situated to be that AR leader. I get Evan Spiegel. He's a good dude. I watched the video with him with, what's her name? Natalie Chang or Chow or whatever, of Bloomberg. Great, really interesting takes about how he developed the company, but I don't really see a runway forward. It's no interest to me, so I won't be looking to get into it. Do you have a different opinion on Snap?
No, I agree with you on that, Sharief, how you just One thing that I've noticed, obviously just considering it's my only social media platform, is that the digital ads are starting to ramp up. They will now give you Snapchat notifications of an ad, Sharief, that you can click to open it. Yeah. So it'll be from different things. Okay. They definitely ramp that up. As for the monetization of things, it's not going to be anywhere in the world of what obviously Meta is, but I think they're starting to work on things. They're stepping in there. You have the Snapchat Reels, which I'm a big fan of. You get an ad here and there, and then when you go through other individuals' like profiles and look at things, you do get them. But other than that, Snapchat, I'm not going to compare it to Vine or anything, but it is slowly starting to, lose its popularity.
If we could have some sort of metric that gives us the buying power on average of their daily active users. So here's what I mean. So if Meta's daily active users on average, I'm just giving any number, spent $1.50 for 3.5 billion daily active users, I'd like to know what the amount spent by the daily active users of Snap is, and I'm willing to bet it's not that much. And the reason I say that is because it's a younger target audience with less buying power. Right?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I just don't like the platform. I'm not using it. I know Joey is using it. That's like the only one he's got on his phone. I'll let him explain why. But,
hold on.
And you damn well know he doesn't got TikTok, but he's got Snapchat. I will let you infer. Make the inferences.
Snapchat,
there in
man.
chat. Shout out to chat and Snapchat. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh no, MP's almost up 10%. Say it ain't so. Neil's printed off that 50 EMA buy. Beautiful look there for MP. Everyone was singing this one's little obituary last week. Well, part of that word is what I'd like to say to them because it's a great move up the double bottom off the 200 to the T and up we go again. Look, we got key areas of technical resistance there. We got 75, we got 80s, we still got to get through. That was a long consolidation area, but MP with a couple of great green candles on the day. I hope everybody did have the compunction to add into that 50 if you're a long-term believer in critical minerals. If you're thinking defense, if you're thinking, AI, it's these kind of rare earths that are going to play a part here, Joey.
All right. For too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing, that's what kept so many traders on the sidelines. But that's changing. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading. Powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. Now there it goes on the TQs, guys. I did get stopped out that break even. That reload was nice, but once again, I told you, considering that this was my entry price, we piece it out, and then we add up here, the average moves higher, and just in case it wanted to come a little bit lower, you have to stick to those game plans and those rules that once it does, you get out. So first in, first out on that one, and then as soon as it gets to the break even, AC Slater. Now, as for Apple, I'm not as confident as the reload opportunity in this one, considering we grab it off those lows. But if we continue to hold this base, there might be a good opportunity. I just don't want to give anything back, and I don't want to be fearful, but you want to be logical at the same time, considering I'm at the highest point of the day, P&L-wise. Don't want to necessarily go gung-ho. And you've noticed, like, I haven't been the most active, but with that, less activity is going to increase that accuracy, and I like higher accuracy because for me personally, the way that my brain works is the less I lose, the more confidence I have, and that's why I specifically am a little bit more precise with my entries, and you don't see me bouncing in and out as I typically did before.
It's a great look, Joey.
Yeah, brother.
I'm still looking at some small cappers. Nothing really moving at the moment, guys. We still have move hanging above the volume weighted average price, but yeah, I don't really have anything. I didn't mention this, sorry, IRWD. So none of my dip trades into 60 and 50 filled. So I punched in at the highs. A couple of profit takers into 80, nothing to really write home about. Up 44.25. I still think these levels over here that I have my DCAs are valid, so I'm going to leave those to trigger. But obviously the moving averages have changed. So we have the 10 EMA now at 267 or so. So maybe I'll move up an order in and around there. But here we go, above 82. I'm waiting at 82 there for a print. Let's see if we can get the 82 print. Then we'll be looking for 86s next. The last, it's got to cross above 82 on the ask to get the print. There it is. We get the 82. Now it's showing me 83s here. Looking for 84s. There's 84s here on IRWD. We're waiting at 86s. Let's see if we can get a nice price spike up. Look, it's been a good name, but it's not a rocket ship. And also the volume is declining. So it's lower highs on the volume, at least on the 5-minute chart. So let's see if we can get a nice price spike up, maybe into $3, give or take. It's up 45%, so it's not a bad look. Let's look at the one that's been halting to no end, at least earlier anyway. MOVE. And I want to take the opportunity to show you kind of this look we have here momentarily if it shows up on our there it is, LULD. You guys see that on the bottom of the level 2 on the right side there? That means limit up, limit down. That means that based upon the time and the current price action, it will halt at $18.35. The opposite is also true on the bit side. You'll see it on the bottom. That's where it would halt if it was to flush, a down halt. So we're going to be showing you these guys a new option on PA. Shout out to everybody at Real Trading. 1835, there it is. That's the red rectangle right there. Limit up, limit down. That's what LULD means. So if this rockets up 1685, where it's currently trading up to 1835, it will up halt. Now that changes constantly, right? Because it's constantly resetting. What do I mean by that? So it's 5 minutes, right? If it moves up 10% or whatever in 5 minutes, that is the halt band. But the ticker, the 5-minute timer, I should say, is constantly restarting. So as it restarts and it adjusts, so will our limit up, limit down on the level 2. So if you see it at 1835 for a little bit, then later it's at 37s or whatever. That's because of that. Just wanted to make that point clear. That's all I've got for now. Swag lost VWAP, but it did find support at that 65 penny area where it's found support before, but it's lost the volume weighted average price, so it's of no interest to me. If it gets back above there, we can have a discussion. Until then, it's on Uncle Sheriff's you know what. IRWD, the only one I'm really looking at right now, Joey, we're waiting at 86.
All right, good stuff. A lot of people talking Bitcoin in the chat. MSTR and BMNR, potential moves there. Sit up straight. So there it is. Yeah, you got to sit up straight at all times, man. Otherwise, your grandma get mad and say,
man, have you looked at CRM lately, man? This thing can just not get out of its way.
It broke trend and then it just couldn't get going after that. I was looking for a bounce on
I know you were, and that's why I was pointing it out. I know you didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. No, I didn't buy it, man. We're happy with the Meta purchase, man. At
where'd you pick up Meta?
617. Yeah, man. Like instantly. Dude, I was watching it on Blue O last night and Tesla on Blue O. It was running. I'm like, let's go.
Attaboy, Joey.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I am a little bit tied up in these IBIT calls that I couldn't go as heavy as I wanted to. I had some big old plans for that meta trade. And I was just thinking like, no, I gotta keep that to myself. Anyways,
no, we want to hear it.
Yeah, we want to hear it. No, I was just thinking,
Open is going.
Is it going?
We're going to get on Open now.
Yeah, hop in Open. Yeah. Guys, watch out for all the selling pressure. Here's essentially what I'm getting at in Bitcoin. But that seems to be irrelevant right now, which is a positive sign. So let's pull up what we got going in BMNR. And with MSTR, again, you're going to want to see a move in the actual underlyings before these will start to participate. MSTR, I feel like this is just like you have to be prepared for this, right? Okay. Like as for September, from September of last year, you go on this insane run from $121 all the way up to $500 plus. That's a 376% return. But after that, you haven't even relatively came that close to it. You're down half of the value from there. And if you've been buying in this area, it's a tough look. And man, oh man, Qs are still climbing. What's dragging this higher? I want to see. Anyways, enough of the crypto talk for now. Let's go back to Meta. Is this the one? Yes, it is. All the way back up to 634. It was at 635 on Blue O last night, Sharief. And I'm like, yes. Bang, bang, bang. But there it is. A nice bounce off of those lows, heading towards some key pre-market resistance zones. If it can break through, watch out. I did have a target of around 650 on this name for the first trim, but until we get there, I'm not going to be doing so. Let's take a look at the daily. And this is what I was talking about. I'm like, I'm going to be patient. As soon as we got about 10 minutes before the end of the day, I'm like, all right, I'm involved because this is the exact same candle print that we've been waiting for. And sure enough, we got it. So you have to get involved. And if you didn't on Friday, you had to be well aware in the post market and coming into the open of Blue Ocean at 8 p.m. last night that you're going to start to climb. And sure enough, 17, you get a 10-point gap up. And this is what I was talking about with Ozan, is that we know that this thing can gap up $10 just like that as quick as you'd like. But as soon as we head towards this gap, I'm going to suspect a potential rejection, a short-term rejection of it, and then we're going to head into it at some point, and then I'm going to look for a 30 to 40% gap fill before I take off the majority of the position.
All right, guys, just taking some scalps here on move. We got in at the $0.75. We were scalping up into about 18 teens there, but it's losing the bid. Flatten out a little bit above break even. It's got a good move. It's got some higher lows. I want to base my analysis on the candle at 1220. Area low there, 1566, subsequent candle, area low 1611, subsequent candle, area low 1639. So the higher lows are in play for now. Let's see if it continues to ride that trend. Maybe we can get back in here towards the middle part of this candle and try to ride it back above 18. So current bar low, as I mentioned, a little bit below 16 and a half. It's 16.39 exactly. So that's about $1 from where we're currently trading right now. So I'm going to keep an eye on move. I'm still involved in IRWD with a 284 high. We're going to pause for a second. We're sending it to the big desk with Adara.
What a volatility here in Berkshire Hathaway, BRKB. In a letter, we had, I guess now, almost former CEO Warren Buffett and longtime mainstay at Berkshire Hathaway saying that he's no longer going to write the company's annual report and that he's now going quiet, quote unquote. So looks like this step away here from Berkshire Hathaway for Warren Buffett is starting now. We know that Greg Abel, his successor, is set to take the reins at the start of next year, but it looks like in the months leading up to that succession, Warren Buffett's already starting to step back. Back to you.
What do you got?
Yes, sir. Let's go. Nice work there, Los Pollos. Hermanos. Nice look there. Oh, man.
What happened?
So the market is still grinding higher, but Apple doesn't want to participate. Am I going to call it completely alarming? No, but it's starting to come back into my break even. We don't like that whatsoever. It's definitely Meta help dragging it higher here, as it's putting in almost a new high of the day right into those the pre-market zones. Sorry. There's a look at it from the intraday standpoint. Bang. So shout out to Meta and company. What has Amazon been up to? Oh, man, that was the ultimate bag fumbler for me, to be honest with you guys, that pickup on the daily from these lows and just getting out a little too prematurely. I was in right there, 213, and then sure enough, you get that move, but that's hindsight 2020. We don't play that. We don't do, Sharief, what's your one guy say? We don't do if, ands, or buts. We only do for certain. Over here, those English kids there. But
yeah, the Manchester kid, right?
Yeah,
You're talking about him.
We don't do any of that, man. Only for certains around
What
here.
you laughing at?
Yeah, we laughing.
What you laughing at?
Yeah, I love the
Manchester accent.
Man. Yeah,
it's better than the Scouser.
I like all of that. Yeah, the Scouser's tough, though.
It's hard
deep.
to understand.
It's deep. It's
Harder?
Harder? Yeah, exactly. But there it is, guys. Could this be a reload opportunity on AAPL? I'm curious. Katina, man, you think it's a reload op here on Apple there, brother? Just curious to see what the man, he's not a myth, but a legend in himself, is thinking about that. But yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything because Amazon's bouncing off of those lows. We got the TQs now above the volume weighted average price. Oh, I know what we haven't done today.
What do you got, Joey?
What haven't we done today, Sharief?
I don't know, brother.
The top performing sectors. And it's already 12:30. Let's take a gander Newfoundland at this one here and see what we got going on. Leading the way, it's either the worst hit or it's going to be performing the best. The technology sector, guys, up just a little bit under 2%, with consumer discretionary following up 1%, a little bit more than that. And then the comms 0.75% there, guys. The bottom three is going to be the real estate sector, down about 0.4. And then we have the utilities down about 0.6, and then the consumer staples down 0.75%. Now, as for the calendar this week, earnings releases, Adara's going to be posting that for sure with the expected moves on Trader TV Research. Make sure you guys go check that out. And don't forget, the education center is coming soon, the Academy, which is really important, whether you're a veteran trader who's looking to resharpen their tools or someone who's relatively new, who's looking to get in depth and learn more. The TraderTV Academy is coming to you guys live. Rigetti after the close, Sharief, CoreWeave as well too. That's going to be a big one. Big Bear AI, I wonder who likes that stock. And then on Tuesday, we have Beyond Meat, Oklo. That's about it. Cisco on Wednesday. Red Cat, all right, we see that one. And Walt Disney before the open. Sharief, what do you got?
Nothing. I just got stopped out of my trade on Move. It was riding high, man, but it lost current trend, so we got stopped out of that one. This is a bit too choppy for me. I mean, it's just the continuation is not there, and I need to give it some more focus, and can't really be trading on this on the show. So I'm gonna stop trading Move on the day. It is. It's good, but I just don't have a good read on it, so we're going to leave that one.
Sorry, Sharief, can I address something here real quick? So for all the individuals in the chat, when I use this specific charting, sorry, sometimes it does remove itself, but always look in the top left corner here. It'll display that. Sorry for those who don't know what I'm looking at, because it does go away at times. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I know the markings there, the watermarks can be quite small. Yeah. All right, just in IRWD at the moment. We'll see if that one has continuation. I'm still continuing to watch swag. It's quite close to getting back above that 280 area. If it does, it starts showing me new highs. I think it would have to get above 290 for me to get involved, because, well, it rejected 290 prior to that. So I know that there's going to be a seller in and around that 290 area. I would rather not have to wait until that seller gets removed. So I'll pack my patience above 290. But Move is all sorts of insane. Look at this thing drop right back down. So happy I got stopped out of that, because the blood is on the street. There's the whole perimeter, 1579. Can you guys see that? There it is right there, but dropping back down. So if it goes into 79s, we'll get that halt perimeter triggering. That's what the LULD thing means on the left side, 1579. The halt perimeter, barely defending that at $16 right now, is MOVE, but it has prior area low. I want to say the candle at 1220 has a 1566 area low, which is below 79. And here we go, we're showing 81, so a little bit more. We're going to see that halt perimeter trigger, not quite yet though, as the buyers do step in around the 80s. But look at that, we drop below 79, so how come we're halting at 59s? Well, that's because the timer changed, right? So it's a 10% drop within 5 minutes, but the 10% has a timer that starts running from every incremental price move. And there we go. We're halted down now, 15, 59, and MOVE having halted at 1240, 24. So keep your eye on this one. Very volatile on the day. We'll keep tabs on that. But IRWD continuing to stair step up, so we'll take some profits on that bad boy right there. Not much else for me to look at on the day, quite frankly. Everything else really not setting up in quite the right way. Just taking a look at the top scanner over there to see if anything new has come onto the scene. Seeing some older recycled names there that are no interest to me. So let's keep an eye on Open then. We're going to take off, we're going to take off here PSNL and look at OPEN. Yeah, Open is a really, really clean trade at the moment now. 20.5% on Open Door. Yo, man, Eric Jackson must be pumped. He goes on, what's it called? The Compound on Thursday, gets released Friday. Open has a great day on Friday. Look at that. From the move down to by the end of the day, we're up 30%. And today, from the closing print, we're up 20.5%. So Open, quite strong as of late. Let's see the daily, though. What are we looking on the daily? Yeah, this was kind of an extended, look at this, Joey. An extended range here on Open. This looks like a really, really prolonged bull flag. I think if we flip to the weekly, though, it'll actually look a little bit better. That's not too bad of a look there on the weekly on Open Door, man. You're above the 200 on the weekly. You're above the 200 on the daily. You got a couple of bull flag patterns, as we always talk about. No two bull flags created equal. Some will have prolonged periods of consolidation. Some will not. But yeah, we are getting into that upper trend line, so I expect resistance right around 850, as is typically the case with these bad boys there. IRWD right back into area highs, into 84s. I think the high of the day is 86. So we'll be looking at that move there. Jay, I don't short small cap gappers, so it'll be only long for me, brother. But I do appreciate you calling out that move short. I would never short it below above the volume weighted average price anyway, Jay. It would have to be below VWAP, which means it would have to be below the price at around 14 2/3. That's just sort of my rules with respect to these small cap gappers, Jay. So thanks for pointing that out. Super chat being said here by Assassino. Give me a second. Shout out to Shop, $1.99. Love from Charlottetown, North Carolina. How old are you guys? 30s? Yeah, Joey is. Try 43 over here, bro. About to be 44 in May. So that's just the way it goes. What's it called? Father Time is cruel to everybody. And for those who are asking about the poppies as well, so this is kind of a Canadian, British, more Commonwealth tradition. It's to respect and pay homage to the men who fell during World War I. Obviously, it's all the wars, but we show respect to them and all the sacrifices they made for us. And that's why we wear the poppy, Joe.
I know you're a space guy, right? I like how you brought up that time thing. Don't you think that's one of the greatest questions kind of mankind is like, why can't we stop time? Why can't we slow it down? Why can't we rewind it?
Bro, it's interesting. Like when you hear Brian Cox and some of the guys that I follow for space talk about black holes and all that kind of stuff and singularity, it's like mind bending, dude. So it's really interesting to take as a hobby, but you know I don't get too stressed about it there.
This market's going insane.
Joey, yeah, we're doing here IRWD's taking out levels. There's 291. That's the area high there. Keep your eye out now on IRWD. It's working into $3. It's also up 50% on the day. So keep your eye out on that. Good look, good trend. The last time it touched the 10 EMA on the 5 was 11:10. So, you know, it could be due for a bit of a pullback, and we're already getting a topping tail candle now into 291, dropping into 284. So there is weakness coming in there, at least momentarily. Let's see if it's an all-out reversal or what. 76s we got on. We get the beak wet there at 90s, but still holding some over here, Joey, so we're going to have to pack our patience.
All right. Okay, Brian Hart, I see you. He says he's in those 70 calls, meow. So good luck on that one. I like that one, my friend. But as for the TQs, we get that reload, and then it's just off to the races. Amazon off to the bottom. This has been a crazy, crazy time. There it goes, a nice curl up in the Amazon rainforest over there. It's only raining dollars at this point. But as for everything else, guys, I'm like, what is really driving this market? I had to pull up the whole Mag 7. I'm going to trade this one. Bitcoin doing pretty good here. We'll take that for sure as it's heading towards some key resistance zones and recovering a lot of what it has lost on the day. That's a good signal that buyers are willing to step in. But let's pull this up, guys. We got 6 of the bigger names here with the exception of Tesla off of this board. So NVDA, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and Apple. Apple being a laggard right now, but you can see Amazon starting to climb back aggressively. Microsoft doing the exact same thing. Google participating in this rally as well, too. And the NVDA just can't be stopped at any given moment, it feels like. And this is what I was talking about, the 205s earlier. There is some open interest at that specific level. So I'm just looking at that as resistance. But we've seen size substantially larger than what I'm going to demonstrate right now, 4 days out. That's why I wanted to just bring it up because of that 77,000 potential call wall. But 195, there's a lot of size there as well too. So you just have this congestion of open interest within those 4 or 5 strike prices. That's something to keep an eye out on. Am I tapped in? Because I heard Adara say something. I didn't get the good to go.
You're good.
Looking like 25-year-old boy says farm, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I'll take that all day, every day. But have you seen? Nope, I have not seen Kanye East. Idiocracy? I have not seen Idiocracy. I have not seen that one. Bro, you got to see it and I never recommend movies. Okay, I'll write that down right now. Just because they say they have a time machine, which I find really interesting. Remember the Sharief, I know I'm going to ask you a question that you'll probably say no to, but there's a Flat Earther documentary. Have you happened to see that one? The one about flat. Okay, no. So that's a quick no. But anyways, this documentary is hilarious. So
it's just like 4 goes. It's just like, look, I want to believe in what I believe in, and I don't believe in physics. So, to me,
it's honestly so funny. So these individuals spend a ridiculous amount of money on this machine that will determine if the Earth is flat or not. And at the end of the documentary, it just shows that like the Earth is obviously not flat.
How are the
these guys are just
circling Earth if the Earth is flat?
Brother,
I'd really like an explanation.
We have to talk with Kyrie Irving on that one, man. I don't personally know. But there goes the TQs climbing higher. Who said that? It's a square, someone said?
Obviously, it's square.
It's square, it's square. You didn't know that? But there it is, Apple, another reload right there. Katina, man, hit it for me if you're paying attention. I'm reloaded. Thank you, my friend. We'll take that all day. But there it is. We'll take a little piece off as we head into some key resistance zones on Apple, Sharief.
All right, we got long back into Swaggy because it did break prior area high. So I put a script order to get long above 90s because 90s was a bit of a sell level. We just got above there. Now we're kind of showing a doji candle, 88 on the bid, 91 on the ask. Let's see if this one wants to continue. Maybe take another shot here at $3. Let's throw in some orders to take account of any price spikes. What's my move though? What if this loses the bid? If it loses 75, it ends my trade. So we'll give this one a little bit of room. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do there. Just let me put in my stop so we can get ready for everything. I did not anticipate myself having that many shares at that level. I'm pretty sure I did not put that, but that's all good. Let's see what we get on that move. Right back to IRWD though, because this one didn't really give much of a sell. It had a bit of a doji candle, the one that closed at 12:30. Now this current 5-minute candle is continuing to move back up near area highs. 88's high, the candle is 91. So let's see what this one has to offer. Also, I want to work into open, man. Open's been quite strong on the day. There it is. For the first time, I want to say since around 11:55, we're about to touch the 10 EMA on the 5, which is at 7 low 80s. Looks like 81 or 82, give or take. Let's throw in an order there and front run it by a little bit. Now, I will DCA into the 20 moving average on open. So if I get my print at around the low 80s and it continues to bleed, I will be adding in the mid to low 70s because that's where the 20 is currently on the 5-minute chart. Let's see what we get there. That's all predicated upon us getting filled, which we're still not getting filled here on open door. Prior bar low on open, just so we can discern trend. Come on, bro. 84s, I think it is. It's, yeah, 84. Shout out to Big Spile. I see you there, my man. Sharief, Joseph, hope you are well today. Key watch on SPY 680 area today. Shout out to Big Spile. I thought he was going to say something mean. As he always does, and you're actually serious.
Bro, that was insane. As soon as you said, hope you are doing well today, I'm like, huh?
Right away,
I'm like, what?
Right away.
That is crazy. No, thanks, Kyle.
He must be in a good mood. All right. Shout out to Big Spile. Nah, I'm playing, man. He's always in a good mood. He's always up and chipper. Good guy, vibes, man. Shout out to Big Spile.
Same sense of humor.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, if he's not making fun of you, you know he doesn't like you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. He's one of those guys. Shout out to Big Spile. There goes Swaggy Swag right back into 96 as we get the print there. Let's see if this one wants to mosey on up into 3. I did have a script order on Swaggy Swag to get that break above 90. We got 91s. We'll take it and go. Let's see what we can get up here a little bit, Joey. We're still waiting. Well, we got shares. That's the thing on Swag. So we should probably start taking some out over here, Joey, because I didn't think that I had that many to begin with. So, yeah. We're going to see what we get. We won't get upset. Shout out to my man, Neil. We'll see what we do there. What else we got, man? We still got IRWD, which is still holding trend, but not breaking above. 91 still showing me 87s on that bad boy. Tisha's watching GLTO. So I don't know what that is all about, but I'm going to have to take a look because her and I trade the same thing. Glito, GLTO. What do we got on that? Galeto? Okay, Tish, I see you, girl. But, you know, this one is very strong from the pre-market, a little bit above VWAP, a little bit below. Yeah, I'm going to have to stay clear on this one, but there is a good support level here. So you're picking it up at the bottom end of the range. I like that, Tisha, because this one seems to have kind of a repetitive thing. Comes into 17s, low 18s, rockets back up into the mid to low 20s. So there is money to be made there. GLTO has already found its way on the side chart. We're going to take off that hot garbage VCIG which I do not like. Shout out to Scott H. Rivian, steady climb. Buy algo, still kicking. Let's look at RIVN. Shout out to Randy. Where's he at, man? He's probably pumped right now. He's not in the house, though. Katina, man. All right, Ray. He's bad holding Katina, man. 6% and change, and absolutely you are accurate, Scott H. This is a buy program right here. There he is. The Katina man's printing over on that side of the desk. He is back from the swim, and he is in a good mood, hence why hot dogs are emanating from his hands. No, but seriously, though, this is a clean move here, Joey, on Rivian. Brother, we haven't touched the 10 EM and the 5 since 11:25.
Damn.
That's almost an hour and a half. It is an hour and a half, actually, because it's almost 55 right now. So great look there, Scotch. Go swaggy swag.
Hold on,
there.
Steve.
No, hold on. I got shares on this one, so you're going to have to wait here. Go swaggy swag, you piece of crap. Let's go.
Bang.
We want more, Joey.
We
got pops in a 304, high a day 310, swaggy swag. Hopefully doesn't disappoint me here and prints a new high day.
You know what is disappointing, Sharief?
What?
The Toronto Maple Leafs. But what isn't disappointing is what we got going on. Buds dropped 2 in a row. What kind of BS is that? I didn't know they had an early game against Carolina last night, or yesterday. Carolina was like in the middle of the day, wasn't it? Are you sure? Hold on, let me double check that. 100 P. All right, did you watch it? Another 5-4 loss to the Buds, to the Carolina Hurricanes. I swear it was a. Pardon me?
That's late. Usually it's 7 puck drop, right? Katina Man says they didn't drop the puck until round 8, which is, it was a Hall of Fame game.
Was it? Hey, was
I saw a couple of new inductees into the Hall of Fame. Was that what it is about?
8 and 7.
Of course, the defenseman, the monster from the Bruins.
The guy who
Zdeno
just Chara light up. These guys are 8 and 7.
You like your boy Zdeno there?
No, I mean, you have to respect him.
If there's a Leafs fan that likes Zdeno Chara,
no, that guy ruined every opportunity.
Of course,
Joe
with the
Thorne.
beard.
Yeah. Joe Thorne. I remember when Zdeno Chara just ragdolled Brian McCabe that one time in the corner.
He was our captain, wasn't he?
Brian McCabe?
Yeah.
No, he was like our assistant captain.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a defenseman.
I think that was the. Yeah, he was a
Yeah,
defenseman. Yeah, he was a great defenseman, Brian McCabe. Shout out to them. But guys, there goes the Meg.
What do you think about Dion Phaneuf?
I mean, he was just given too big of a role for what he was actually for. I mean, Dion.
Russ, tell us how you really feel, brother.
Russ
is coming hot from back there. Okay, Russ.
You know what, TLP? It's really tough, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the individuals on the team.
Okay.
Like, I don't really. I'm not in love with them or anything like that. I just feel they're a little bit soft, and I don't know. Anyways, aside from the Leafs, guys, the TQs are still absolutely humming. Here it is. We're still sitting in this Apple trade as we slowly piece it out. If it decides to play catch up here, watch out and head towards the volume weighted average price. It's game over there in AAPL. But what a big time move off of those lows. I was gonna say, not very often do we get these aggressive V-shaped reversals, but off of this indecision print, I'm like, let's rock and roll, baby, stock and roll. Now, as we're heading towards, we're way past the opening price, but these key resistance zones, the high of the day, let's see how we react around those. Stop being honest, Joey says, Formac, yeah, okay, I love them a lot then. There it is, TQs starting to climb higher and continuing to do so. If Amazon is going to be in a buy program, Google and all of these other names, NVDA heading up a little bit higher as well too, 197 roughly there. Whew, watch out, we might be in for another rally just like Friday, Sharief.
Oh no, Joey. I'm not going to complain about that, man. I was quite surprised because I left the morning, everything was blood red, right? And then,
I had a feeling it was going to be a rally day.
Look, I liked 25,000. I like that. Yeah. Obviously, it was the 50-period moving average on the daily for the future. I'm talking about, of course, the NQ.
Yeah.
I did like that, but there's really no guarantees of anything, right? But let's talk about what's going on. We're going to get to it, obviously, on the news, which will start shortly. But I feel quite, uninformed. Here we are every day coming in on the market talking about why things are up and down, and nobody mentioned anything about Gershner and Altman last week. What?
You were telling me this morning.
And, obviously that had a way of ruining the entire week for everybody because everybody was talking AI bubble. Well, where'd that narrative come from all of a sudden?
Wow.
Well, it was because, we'll probably get to it on the news when we touch on a story that gleans to it, but it was basically Brad Gershner pressing Sam Altman saying, how does a company that has about $15 billion in revenue make commitments that are $1.5 trillion or whatever the hell that is up to at the moment. Altman took great offense to that. He challenged Gershner's notion that they were only bringing in $15 billion on the year. And then he got quite annoyed. And he left. Well, some people accused him of leaving the pod early. I think he was scheduled to go, and then Nadella stayed on. But the point is, he started getting quite temperamental with Gershner, where he's like, look, man, because Gershner's an investor in OpenAI. He's like, if you don't want your shares, I'll sell your shares like that.
Yeah.
And basically challenge him. Gershner's like, what do I do, man? I'm asking these questions. So what I'm trying to say is when there's smoke, there's fire. If Altman's getting that mad at an innocuous question like that, that means he's been asked it a zillion times by 100 other investors, and he's had it up to here about answering about it. That doesn't make it any more true, though, right? Because for you to think that AI is a bubble, you have to be dismissing all the analysis of Altman, Nadella, Pichai, Musk, all the hyperscalers, Jassy, who say they can't get their hands on enough compute if their life depended on it. What does that mean to me? That means demand's up the wazoo. So I don't see demand drying up anytime soon. What I do see is a profitability problem for some of these people. I'm talking about Meta specifically.
Yeah.
Because we know all the other hyperscalers are renting out the compute and therefore able to generate and realize revenue a lot quicker. Meta, their compute is not being rented out to anybody. It's to generate digital ad sales. So unless we see a corollary move in the revenue from digital ad sales to basically justify the investment on compute, then I think Meta will be in some trouble. And that's why we saw Meta take an ass whooping the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. One thing that's kind of been, I'm not going to say it's been grinding my gears, but I've just been thinking a little bit more in depth with it, Sharief, is that we're placing this AI trade in a specific inning. Like we're in the second inning. We're giving it a timeline.
Right.
I think if you go back in history, like if you go back, say 60 years, did people ever think, hey, there's going to be a limit on cell phones? Would you ever have guessed that there's going to be a device like this that has a computer in your hand? No, no, at the end of the day. So essentially what I'm getting at is I don't think there's a limit. I don't think there's a limit to this stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Remember the Palm Pilots and like the Compact or the iPack? Do you remember those handheld devices where you had like the little pen and you'd point and write on those?
I never used them.
Before cell phones. Though.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that was like the precursor for the smartphone. The only thing they did with the smartphone, Joey, is they added the ability to make calls.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I'm getting at here is I don't think there's a limit to this stuff. If you go over it,
I agree 100%.
There's no limit. So it's just like we're in the second, we're in the third inning. No, I think it's going to continue to grow. Because, like I said, if you go back X amount of years, you never would have guessed that you would have a calculator, the internet, and this thing that's literally like 10 centimeters by 10 or whatever it may be, right?
Brother, yeah.
So for me personally, I think that the potential is limitless at the end of the day. So I'm not going to be putting a timeline, first or second, third inning, whatever it may be. If Sam Altman IPOs, you hold that for the rest of your days. Again, with the likes of NVDA, things are going to continue to grow. I don't think there's going to be a limit or an end to it. And we talk about the race and stuff, but what is the end goal? What is the end goal of this race? There is none, in my opinion.
No, I don't think that there's going to be, winners and losers in the traditional sense that you and I can outline that guy won, that guy lost. I mean, look at the internet and how the internet got built out. How many companies base their product off the internet? It's going to be, I don't want to say that AI and the internet are the same thing, but so many companies base their product off what AI can deliver. Just like, e-commerce companies and SaaS software and everything that is available, cloud, goodness, cloud, the monster. It's based off the internet. The internet facilitated the ability to offer cloud, the ability to buy things online. It's no one won the internet. No. Everybody uses the internet to generate their business revenue.
And to add to your point, it's like, hey, again, we're not going to necessarily look at the winners or losers of what we got going on, but there's obviously going to be individuals who hold the dominance in market share, right? Right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But there's a piece of the pie for a lot of these big players, whether it be Anthropic, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Gemini. There's going to be enough to go around, but obviously you'll have that dominant individual, and I think we've seen it across the board in multiple sectors.
All right.
It doesn't mean that there's not that everybody's going to lose and there's a definitive winner and loser.
That's fair, Joey. All right, guys, it is 1 o'clock, so we probably should start the news now. I'm just going to close all my positions at the moment so I don't have to monitor these while I am trading. We're just going to take out everything, and we are good to go. Let me cancel all my orders so nothing triggers when I do not expect it. So allow me a moment over here to pull up said notes. Let's get down to business. So Joseph and I kind of preface this right now. Jensen's like, yo, cut the crap, all right? Demand is exploding. I can't build enough Blackwell chips. The people love me. They want what I got. Let's talk about it. So Jensen's back out in Taiwan, as he's been 4 times this year, and he confirmed in his trip in Taiwan when he met Cici, which is, of course, the CEO of Taiwan Semi. He said, look, very strong demand for the company's next-gen Blackwell, and the reason is Blackwell is everything to everybody. It's got the GPUs, it's got the CPUs, and the networking all in one, stitching all the hardware together. It is a full stack for AI, what are they called? Data centers. He praised, praised Taiwan Semi's manufacturing excellence, saying, look, Nvidia's success would not be possible without Taiwan Semiconductor. I think we all could have gleaned that. This marks, as I mentioned, his 4th visit to the island of Taiwan, reflecting, of course, its strategic importance to Nvidia. I think we all knew that as well. And he says, look, man, demand is so strong, there are potential component shortages for everything, not just high bandwidth memory. HBM is the biggest problem, but he says there's possible component shortages for everything because he can't get enough components to meet the demand. Specifically, though, as I mentioned, HBM, his high bandwidth memory for his servers he's getting from SK Hynix, Samsung, and Microsoft. And just to give you an example of how much demand there is in the system, SK Hynix said it's sold out of all of its 2026 inventory for HBM. It's all spoken for. It's already allotted. And so there's, unless they bring on new supply, that's as good as it's going to get for them, at least for that segment of their business. Huang clarified as well that there are no active discussions to sell Blackwell chips in China. And, this is an important development, Joseph, because we heard last week, we heard it from the man's mouth himself. His China revenue now, bro.
A big
Joseph
goose egg.
putting a big zero up in there.
Big goose egg right there. But I mean, you've seen that in AMD's earning report. They're not going to forecast the China sales because there's going to be no more of them. But as for what's going,
it's not because of the Commerce Department either, Joey. It's because of the Chinese regulator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So shout out to Lutnick there as well too. But no, in all seriousness, we know this what we got going on right here. It's a lot of capex, a lot of names heavily reliant on TSMC, and I think they're going to continue to do so. Once again, there's no innings to this trade. It's going to be forever lasting. Will things cool down? Absolutely. But you see TSM here and NVDA most definitely at the forefront.
All right, Joe, let's go on to the next story. Let's talk about the Senate passing a deal to end the shutdown. Look, this is in the morning, so I don't know what's developed since that time, but Adara can give us the information on whether any of this has changed. So the Senate passed the first stage of a deal late Sunday night. To end the 40-day government shutdown with 60 votes in favor. Now, if you know the whole, the filibuster rule, you need 60 votes as a supermajority on any money bills, and this qualifies. So a 50% majority, a simple majority wouldn't cut it. You had Donald Trump also asking Senate Republicans to cancel the filibuster, which they rejected, okay? The breakthrough came after Senator John Cornyn of Texas flew to Washington. 8 Democrats, broke with their party to back the deal, while 40 senators opposed it. Chief among them, Schumi, the leader of the minority leader in the Senate. He's like, nope, I'm not voting for this. So here are some of the key provisions of the deal. The funds covering the government through January 31st, giving both parties time to negotiate a longer-term budget, and it guarantees a December vote on the Democratic chosen bill to extend the Affordable Care Act for premium tax credits. It doesn't directly extend them now, but it just puts it up for a vote. So looks like a bit of a compromise there, because I know that was a sticking point for the Dems. Federal employees will receive full back pay and protection from layoffs, and it will reinstate all previously laid off workers and protect the SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, for those who qualify. Some of the political reactions: Democrats were divided, including Tim Kaine and Dick Durbin, who voted yes, and Senator Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer all opposed the bill. They called it horrific and inadequate for failing to extend the ACA credit immediately. Joey, I put the SPY up there for those of the morning note. By the way, the levels on the story were for the SPY because it's such a an overarching story.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a weight lifted off the market's shoulders here. As you can see, we're heading into some key zones. Government shutdown ending, that's good. Maybe you get those flights because we know the FAA was starting to reduce flights as well too. So you get those people back to work and get everything operational. You don't want it to go for too long because then it can start to hinder the economy. And we know a lot of people are heavily reliant on the government as well too. But as for the overall market, the SPY. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Everybody, the sky is falling. We're down 3.3% or 4.25% or whatever it may be. Okay, cool. Now we're only down 1.5%. So everybody thought it was going to we're frothy.
We're 1.5% off the top.
We're just like that. So I mean, you go down almost 5%. And at some point, it's like, hey, when are these dips going to stop being bought? Just keep buying them until they're not. That's I think the flow that you have to go with. I would not be surprised whatsoever if by the end of the week or next week, end of earnings season, SPY puts in a new all-time high, considering a lot of these numbers have been pretty good so far. And there it is on SPY, down 1.5% from the previous all-time high.
Brenda was letting me know this morning that we could possibly get CPI. I mean, there's a good chance we don't, but
on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we're probably not going to get it, but just want.
You never know, man.
You never know. All right, Adara, this is a good development, at least for the moment. What do you make of this whole thing? Can you add any new details that I may not have here?
Yeah, I have news, and the first piece of news or commentary here is we probably won't get that CPI on Wednesday because apparently they're not expecting to have another vote on the issue until Wednesday. So unless that issue is, or that vote is Wednesday very early in the morning, probably not going to get updates. Now, it is worth noting the Republican side of the issue, including John Thune, as well as Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, they all seem very stoked about potentially getting a resolution. But then we have more Democrat voices suggesting that they're not 100% on board with this proposal. Hakeem Jeffries did not speak super favorably about it this morning. That is, of course, the minority House leader. We also had some commentary from Neil, who is the leader of the Ways and Means Committee, also apparently not 100% down. So it seems like the more that we seem closer to a resolution, there's a little bit more uncertainty. So like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's basically my update here. I really don't think that it's over until it is 100% over. That is a trite, cliche phrase, but a lot of these cliche phrases are based in truth. So long story short, just provide an update here. Even as the path seems pretty clear, there is still a lot of murkiness, uncertainty to get through. And until we get through that, I don't know if we should get too excited about that CPI print, to be quite honest.
Thank you very much, Adara. Guys, I want to mention, thank you, Wolf, for pointing this out. I'm not going to trade this, but I want to show you guys HKIT is breaking out there on good volume. Midday, we have about 1.3 million shares, but this one just started doing volume, as you can see on the bottom right. The volume just started coming in. HKIT, the ticker, $85 million market cap, engaged in the provision of IT, consulting, and solution services. I don't have a float on it. Trade it carefully. Rejecting 3, and it looks a bit spready here for a $3 name, bouncing from 85 into 99s. I just saw that. So be careful with HKIT. Let's talk about Tesla. Losing their Cybertruck chief and weak China sales. So let's start with this. Siddhant Awasthi. Awasthi? Yeah, I think so. Head of Tesla's Cybertruck program announced his departure after 8+ years at the company. He began as an intern and rose to lead, the Cybertruck engineering product and strategy team. He also had a role with the Model 3 program. He took that over in July 2024. He had a dual leadership role. So this guy was pretty important for Tesla in both the Model 3 program and the Cybertruck. Now, that's that. He's gone. He wished them great. It looks like he didn't leave with a bad taste in his mouth, because I saw his tweet over the weekend, and he was quite, he was fond of his time at the company, and he wished everybody good luck. I don't think he has a bad taste in his mouth, but who knows. Now, with respect to the China sales, not a good look. China sales plunged to 26,000 vehicles, the lowest it's come in for a monthly print since 2021, marking a 35.8% year-over-year decline. Not sequential, quarter-over-quarter. And I'll get to why that's important in a sec. This is a year-over-year decline, which makes it even worse. Their market share collapsed to 3.2%, down from 8.7% in September. Why was it so big in September? Well, because sales were very much boosted in that month because of the launch of the Model Y L, which is their longer range, 3-row, 7-seater SUV, which they happen to love in China. It looks like the love for that's dwindling because market share declining aggressively again. Despite weak domestic sales, export surged to a 2-year high of about 35,491 units, offsetting some factory utilization risks. And as we know, sorry, one sec, Randy. And as we know, record Q3 deliveries in the United States were likely as a result of the $7,500 tax credit. Analysts now are expecting a sharp drop-off for deliveries for Tesla in Q4. We'll have to see if that ends up being true or not. Rivian is rocketing up, Randy. I think it's at the day high right now. I think it's at 1675 or something like that. Yeah, it is actually. I'll tell you exactly the price. It's 1667 and it's up 9.46. So get it, my man. Hope you're printing up storms over there. Joey. Tesla.
I don't know, I think it's interesting. Could this be a little bit of some geopolitical warfare as well, too, Sharief, with the Chinese government saying, hey, stay away from the, obviously they're made, the Teslas are made there, but I mean, still American name at the end of the day, so you can go with, hey, buy the BYD instead. But as for that, the individual who was an engineer on the Cybertruck, not much I can really say about that. Tesla, I think, it's in a pretty good spot. I like Tesla, especially for the foreseeable future. I mentioned it being one of the most forward-looking names in the market, considering what he has down the pipeline. Once more that comes to play, then I think we're going to be good. But what we do got rocking and roll right now, Sharief, is AAPL. Yes, sir. We have the SPY putting in a new high of the day. The TQs are heading in there. Amazon is on one for sure. And then we're starting to get a little pop in AAPL off of those bottoms. Let's rock and roll.
I want to mention one thing before we send it. I don't know if we're going to Adara for their story, but what was really interesting to me, Joey, was when I was doing a little bit of digging into Tesla going into China. You know that they were invited by the Chinese. They're like, come build over here. We want you over here. It wasn't like, and no company kind of got that love previously from the Chinese government the way that Tesla did. And they were saying it was a little self-motivating here. They wanted to push their own domestic producers. They wanted to push them and put them under pressure.
Make it more competitive.
So they wanted Tesla to come in so that these guys could, bust their hump.
Get their ish together and then start undercutting each other a little bit more.
Now you're getting to the fruits of the whole thing. Exactly. So look, man, interesting look there. We'll have to see if they continue to get the love of the Chinese regulator or it was just a self-serving thing, as I mentioned. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go to the next story here. Pfizer wins the $10 billion bidding war for the obesity drug developer MSTR. Let's talk about this. This is really interesting here. Pfizer clinched a $10 billion deal to acquire MSTR, outbidding rival Novo Nordisk, okay? Despite MSTR's drug still being years from commercialization, Pfizer's offer is at $86.25 per share, which includes $65.60 in cash and a contingent value right worth up to $20.65 per share. Novo withdrew their offer after assessing the maximum value it was willing to pay. Now, here's the deal. That's what they're saying. But actually, it's a little bit different. Okay. Here it is. MSTR cited unacceptably high legal and regulatory risks tied to Novo's offer after receiving an FTC warning letter. The FTC letter reportedly expressed concerns that Novo MSTR deal would violate U.S. antitrust laws given Novo's dominance in the obesity drug market with drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic. But what really stuck out to me was that, one is a European company and one is an American company, and the FTC sends a letter to the European company. And this would be entirely, I think, within the playbook of the current administration to really want to prop up American biotech, American pharmaceutical companies, and not want, Novo to get their hand. And that's just my speculation there. But interesting that the FTC sent a letter to them. Pfizer initially agreed to acquire MSTR in September for $7.3 billion, but Novo's unsolicited offer reignited the bidding war last week. Bernstein analysts noted Pfizer's valuation assumes MSTR could generate $11 billion in annual revenue by 2040 and almost double the current projections. Why is MSTR important? Because it has two important drugs. One is a GLP-1, and one is an amylin hormone. And apparently, the amylin mimicking compound is expected to complement the GLP-1 therapies to make it even more efficient. So they've got this MET-097I, that's a GLP-1 injectable, and then the amylin mimicking compound is the MET-233I. And apparently, they're going to be together and sold together for an even better result, according to some of these studies. So, Adara, Pfizer, MSTR, Novo Nordisk, what do you make of this whole thing?
Well, I think you guys know what I might make of this because I actually alluded to this when we first started talking about this story last week. I said, hey, you got a European company and you have a company where we know that President Donald Trump is quite tight with the CEO. And by that, I'm referring to Pfizer. When Trump released these letters with regards to pharmaceutical tariffs in July, and I've said this multiple times because I think it does bear repeating, the only CEOs who he addressed by first name in those letters were David Ricks, the CEO of Eli Lilly, Albert Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer, and the CEO of Regeneron. So with that in mind, it is always really worth noting how the Trump administration reacts with those three companies, knowing that Donald Trump is a little bit closer with the CEOs of Regeneron, Pfizer, and Lilly. Now, all of this is to say that when we started talking about this story, I had mentioned, hey, I wonder if the FTC steps in and puts their foot down to stop this acquisition, because of course it makes sense to have a company you're already tight with that's in America to have this MSTR acquisition rather than the Novo Nordisk getting it, right? At least that would be the logic there. Now, I want to mention as well, another thing that I think is interesting that I mentioned at the time too. On Thursday, we had that press conference with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk on drug sales with regards to the Trump administration and that Trump RX pricing deal. Now, the only reason I bring this up is because one of the reporters at that conference asked Mazir Mike Dustar, who is, of course, the CEO of Novo Nordisk, hey, so what's going on here with your deal with MSTR? Are you concerned about antitrust issues? And so Trump stepped in. He said, hey, what are you guys talking about? And basically, Mazir Mike Dustar explains, you know, we're in a bidding war with Pfizer. And then Trump said, oh, you guys are paying more? He said, yes. And it all led to this point where CEO of Novo Nordisk says, hey, if they want to outbid us, they have to reach in their pocket and pull out more money. At the end of the day, it looks like they did, but I found this whole slow burn, Game of Thrones, to use one analyst term, tension for this deal to be deeply fascinating, and I guess now the end of a very short era.
Adara, let's go on to the next.
Before
yeah,
we do that,
go ahead, Joey.
Let's cover a super chat here from our guy, Adam HPN. Can we say hallelujah for SoFi? Let's take a look at SoFi for you real quick. Thank you for that $2, my friend. Hopefully you're crushing it today. A nice rebound in the overall markets. And what has SoFi been up to? Monstrous, up 8.5% there.
All right, Joey.
Shout out to APN.
APN, big time.
HPN.
Yeah, because there's Adam ADL.
Yeah, and then
Adam
we got
APN.
HPN. No, it's Adam HPN. Sorry,
HPN, my bad. I
apologize.
Robinhood eyes retail access to private AI deals. We've been telling you about this for a while. It's not as wide-ranging as we had spoken about. They're really focusing, Joey, on AI companies. So let's talk about what this story is all about. So Robinhood plans to launch a new fund under a different company, Robinhood Ventures, allowing everyday investors to buy shares in private AI companies, only AI companies. The fund will target a concentrated portfolio of 5+ what they're calling best-in-class AI firms, possibly using leverage. Oh no, to amplify returns, not again. Your very good friend, Joey Vlad said the goal here is to give, quote, normal people exposure to the drivers of AI disruption, and he dismissed concerns entirely about a potential tech bubble. Pardon me. We already know that President Trump, through an EO, an executive order, had already eased access to private equity and private credit, but specifically for retirement funds. This opens it up to an even wider tranche of people. The total number, and the reason this is getting important is because of this data point. Look, Joey, I want you to listen to this. The total number of U.S. private companies valued over $1 billion back in 2016, Joey, was 20. The total number of companies in the United States that are private, that are valued over $1 billion, Over 1,000, and that was last year, dude. We don't even have the numbers for this year yet.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so there's more of an incentive to stay private for as long as you can, mostly because private credit and private equity is really picking up the tab. They're not forced to go into the public markets to get funded. As we see with OpenAI, this thing's going to IPO at a freaking $1 trillion. So what are the risks and the criticism of doing this? The fund will be close-ended. What does that mean? It means investors can't redeem shares as freely, which raises concerns about liquidity if sentiment sours. And anybody who's, owned a privately held company knows if you want to get out for whatever reason, say you're experiencing financial trouble at home and you need the money, you're going to have to sell at a substantial haircut in order to get out of that if it's not at a funding round or a pre-planned sale. So this does, show some signs of there are some things that we have to concern ourselves with.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's where you don't YOLO those types of things, though,
Yep.
Sharief. Like you just put in what you can. A little bit of risk on there at the end of the day. But as for what Vlad Tenev has got going on there, it's the utility knife. I think at this point of a broker, I like everything that he's doing. You know that you have some access in Europe to OpenAI, but add to your point, there over 1,000 companies valued at $1 billion. SpaceX, OpenAI, and a couple other names are worth over $1 trillion, and these are private names. So a lot of people do want exposure. I think that OpenAI, if it ever does go public, might be the biggest IPO of all time at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Without any question.
Unless something happens and Altman's been building like a house of cards over there, which I don't think it is.
I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so either.
Anything can happen, but imagine we've seen some other names like Circle go on some big-time runs on the IPO.
Yeah.
CoreWeave. What do you think can happen with this?
This can be insane, man. And like from all accounts, what people are leaking is that the company is really preparing stuff internally for that IPO process for next year, of course. Yeah,
man.
that's what the leaks are saying. We'll see.
Like I'll sell everything. No, I won't. Don't say that.
Don't say that. Nah. All right, let's talk about China loosening rare earth export controls in a possible trade truce. MP up 10.25%. Go MP go. All right, let's talk about this over here. Sorry. So China suspended several export restrictions on key minerals used, of course, in semiconductors, defense tech, and high-end manufacturing. The rollback follows talks between President Trump and President Xi based on back in October 30th, marking a temporary de-escalation in the standoff. The restrictions, Joey, were initially imposed October 9th in retaliation for U.S. semiconductor exports. The suspension is going to be valid for 1 year, signaling what some people are calling is a testing phase for broader trade normalization. We'll have to see if that's true. So what are they doing here? They're relaxing rules that cover the exports of, rare earths like lithium battery materials and related processing technologies. They also lifted the limits on gallium, germanium, antimony, super hard materials like synthetic diamonds and boron nitrides. I didn't even know that was a thing, man. These are crucial, of course, to EV batteries, chips, and aerospace systems. In return, Joey, the U.S. is cutting tariffs on Chinese imports by 10 percentage points, and they suspended President Trump's reciprocal tariffs until November 10th, 2026. I'm assuming they're going to get extended. They delayed enforcement also of a September 29th blacklist rule, which targeted subsidiaries of Chinese firms, Joey. China controls 70%. I thought it was more than that, of the global rare earth production. Wow. I think I have like 90% on refinement or something like that. It's something insane.
Yeah, no, and I think that's good, right? This is what you want to slowly start to see them coming to terms and striking these deals. So that's exactly what I'm looking for, and I think it's most definitely bullish for the market, and we're seeing that displayed for over the past couple of sessions. We were starting to get a little bit of worried. Step in, frothy, all this, all that. Are we going to experience that pullback? Is going to be significantly deeper than what we were expecting. So far, that hasn't been the case. A lot of positive things going right now. Obviously, the end of the government shutdown, and then starting to form somewhat of a truce with these tariff talks, because I think that's going to be the biggest thing that can move this market higher.
All right, Barrick Gold. Where's gold at right now? Back above 4,100. Gold's up 2 3/4. All right, so I hope people bought that $4,000 base because it held 4,000 quite well. And Barrick Gold's obviously not, the spokesperson for gold, but let's talk about how they did. They reported earnings. It was a miss on the top. It was a miss on the top and bottom line. It was minor misses though. 58 pennies instead of 61 for EPS. 4.15 billion instead of 4.36 billion in revenue. But it is nonetheless a miss on the top and bottom line. But the shares, at least earlier, were up. The ticker is B. It's quite simple. Where's this thing? It's up 5.5%. It's off the day's high. It's 35.69 day high, trading a little bit below 35 right now. But they did reaffirm their full year 2025 guidance, signaling, management confidence in cost control and production stability. And I don't know why people are so gung-ho about this. Their gold output dropped from 934,000 ounces last year on the quarter to 829,000. They did increase it quarter over quarter, but year over year they're down over 100,000 ounces. Their copper output, though, I guess picked up the slack. They mined 55,000 tons. That's a 15% year-over-year increase, aligning with internal plans. Their average realized gold price was around a little bit less than $3,457 an ounce, which is a 40% jump year-over-year, far above the $2,500 an ounce they had last year, and all-in sustaining costs, so all their things combined, when you take in all the costs, about $1,538 an ounce ahead of that print last year. They did quite good, Joey, in terms of cash flow explosion. They got a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. 82% quarter-over-quarter for operating cash flow. They got $2.4 billion, and their free cash flow 274%. Quarter-over-quarter. I'm assuming that is because of the big bull run we've had in gold lately, up 1.5 billion here. And they also raised their dividend, Joey, 25%.
That's always a good. Yeah, investors always like a divvy raise right there. A couple things before we hop into GLD. Look at Oracle going oppo the market right now, Sharief. That's really interesting.
What's that
Someone
daily
mentioned
look
that
like,
one.
Joey?
Not good. It filled that gap completely now.
Oh my
at this point, nice indecision print off of those lows. If I'm looking for a bounce in Oracle, it's right off of this specific candle. As long as you hold 233, you're good. But I mean, that's what happens when you guide like that.
225.
Yeah,
It's headed to 225.
You think 225?
That's where the 200 is.
That can be in the works. Yeah, for sure. I can agree with that. But as for GLD, it's by the dips. I think on this one, the exact same as the overall market.
You got any gold?
I don't, brother.
Neither do
I don't, honestly, which is really. You know what's funny? One of my cousins.
Hey,
I got the white. Oh man, I don't want to bring that up. But the white gold, man. The front. Yeah, the front.
You got the white in the back?
No. Front.
Yo, you show him, bro.
I can't show him.
He's got bling in his mouth, Neil.
No, not now. No. These are.
We need the pictures immediately.
These are porcelain, man. Immediate.
Come on,
yeah. No, anyway.
You want to see it immediately.
The fronts, yeah. But in all seriousness, Sharief, you get a 10% pullback, and then you're off to the races off of that 360 level. You're right back up 5% in gold. It's buy the dips at every cost here. I think gold is going to continue to climb because we know what the Chinese are doing with it, buying it hand over fist.
Oh, they are, man. And we saw there was a great chart that
Brando showed us.
Can't find it. You saw that, right?
Yeah, we have that. Yeah, we have that.
Gold that the Chinese are buying. We know the central banks are buying as well, guys. All right, a name that is really not done well this year, Joey. I just need to find out what the year-to-date print is. Monday.com, ticker MNDY, Assassino. This stock is down 31.5% year-to-date, and they're down another 15% today. So let's talk about why Monday.com, which advertises on the TTC, funny enough, dropped aggressively after issuing Q4 revenue guidance below estimate. So yeah, they expect Q4 revenue to come in 328 to 330 million. The midpoint there is 329 versus the consensus estimate of 333.8. So even their best case scenario at 330 misses the consensus. So not a good look there. Despite the decent Q3 results, a softer outlook spooked investors who had priced in continued hyper growth. Management does remain optimistic, but cited macroeconomic headwinds and longer deal cycles for the reason for the cautious outlook. So let's talk about their actual revenue. $316 million, above estimates. Non-GAAP EPS of $1.16, also beating expectations. They highlighted a strong upmarket traction and robust customer engagement. Their net dollar retention, 111%, while large enterprise customers now posted 117% retention. not a bad look there, Joey. What do you make of Monday?
Yeah, I mean, from a technical standpoint, it's not the most beautiful thing out there. We can zoom out and head to the daily, please be, or weekly. Please be good to us. All right, thank you. With that IPO in 21, sure enough, you're still down a bit off of that, 64% to be exact. And we had some uptrends being snapped in the meantime. So I would be looking for this level to specifically hold. But now that's going against us. And this is where we zoom out and head towards the daily and keep an eye on these levels. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to compare to Salesforce, but at the end of the day, what you need to break is all these key pivots that we've been experiencing, and they're lower. So what happens is you break through some key support levels, you are getting a bounce, but I'm going to look for that trajectory to remain to the downside until otherwise.
All right, Joey, let's talk about airline stock lift at as the shutdown deal brings relief to the sector. Let's see where the Jets ETF is at the moment. Jets ETF flat, up 0.16. But let's talk about this. So the U.S. Senate, as we talked about, approved a deal that would fund the federal government through January 2026, allowing thousands of air traffic controllers and TSA agents to return to work. You had the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy. He warned that without a deal, aviation could have slowed to a trickle heading in, of course, to the Thanksgiving season. The FAA had previously flagged 46% of flight delays as staff-related. With the ATCs returning, the deal is expected to reduce delays and cancellations at over 40 major U.S. airports. But their back pay uncertainty was resolved. So the agreement includes a guarantee for full back pay for all federal employees affected by the shutdown, eliminating prior uncertainty. This stems from concerns after reports that the initial shutdown back in 2019 caused delays or denied back pay for some workers. But look, President Trump dropped a truth here, and I'm not really... Look, it was quite an aggressive truth. He's basically attacking those who did not go to work and really praising those who did, because we know some of the air traffic controllers didn't go to work and some of them did. It read as follows, Joey. All air traffic controllers must get back to work, capital now. Multiple exclamations. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democratic shutdown hoax, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country for those that did nothing but complain and took time off, even though everyone knew they would be paid in full shortly into the future. I am not happy with you. You didn't step up to help the USA against the fake Democratic attack that was only meant to hurt our country. You will have a negative mark, at least in my mind, against your record. If you want to leave service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so with no payment or severance of any kind. It goes on, to expand on that, Joey, but needless to say, this averts a big problem that we would have had.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think this is kind of like the Lisa Cook scenario where it's like, hey, does Donald Trump really have any play in whether these people get paid or compensated or not?
You know what? He says in his mind, like, he really made like statements about. They didn't really sound legally binding.
Yeah, no, probably not. Yeah. But I mean, there you go. He gets to express his frustration. But as for the Jets, I was looking at the Jets ETF and some of these airlines. They just shrugged it off essentially at the end of the day. Adam, there he goes. Adam, another $2 super chat. Thank you, saying Trump, baby, USA, and a couple American flags. Thank you for that very much. But as for some of these airlines, Sharief, they weren't heavily affected on that news that you brought to us last week as well, too. A nice little rebound. We're not going to complain about that. This is AAL. We'll head over to the Jets and see what the Jets ETF is up to. So, again, similar price action. Shrugging that one off, Sharief.
Okay. All right, Adara, this is a good development at least. You know, flights are going to get back to the regular scheduled programming, at least we hope. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I continue to find it interesting, and I've definitely mentioned this before, the way that the air travel space specifically has been leaned on as, I don't want to say leverage, but it's certainly been the biggest industry that we've had figures from the Trump administration mention when it comes to trying to encourage the end of the shutdown. So, of course, it makes sense for Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy to talk about the risks here with regards to the airline industry. If the shutdown continues to Thanksgiving, that makes sense. But what I still found shocking is when J.D. Vance out and out said the industry would be a disaster, quote unquote, if the shutdown continued through American Thanksgiving, which is in the end of November. So again, I find it interesting that this seems to be the bargaining, no, I don't want to say bargaining tip, but again, the pain point they're repeatedly mentioning with regards to the shutdown. Either way, I mean, it looks like these constant mentions of how the airline industry is going to be impacted by the shutdown have caught the attention of President Trump, specifically with regards to air traffic control. I find it interesting, too. I was just reading a little bit more on this with regards to, I guess, what has been said by the air traffic control union on this issue. Now, not directly in response to Trump, but one thing the union did say is that, this is a really taxing job. There are a lot of mental strains, and so what a lot of air traffic controllers are doing in order to stay with the job, which again, these are the people that Trump was praising and recommending bonuses for, they're basically required to take on extra jobs in order to feed their families. Now, the issue with that as well is that, well, it's obviously admirable, it can lead to mental strain, and it can lead to exhaustion. Now, this is a field where you are really not allowed to take mental health leaves, as far as I understand. I watched a short piece on this a while ago. And so if you've got that kind of mental strain going on, especially with the high stress of the air traffic control job, I think that in and of itself can be a problem. So long story short, hopefully they get this resolved. But yeah, I think there's obviously always multiple sides to an issue, so I did want to add that piece as well.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Let's talk about Rivian. What a day Rivian is having. Randy, you still here? No. Hey, we're doing Rivian. All right. So here it is. Rivian unveiled a revised 10-year pay package for CEO Robert Scaringe. Don't ever call him Robert again. His name is RJ, baby. Potentially worth up to $4.6 billion if performance goals are met. Who said it was just Elon Musk that's going to get big boy paydays? So the structure really does mirror Tesla's performance-based plan for Elon, linking rewards to aggressive stock and profitability milestones. So here's the deal. The package includes $36.5 million in stock options priced at $15.22 a share, which would be about a 16, give or take, million share increase from his prior award. The vesting of those shares is tied to Rivian hitting share price targets at different tranches ranging from $40 up to $140 alongside new operating income as well as cash flow objectives through the year 2032. So let's talk about those. So the previous options tied to unrealistic prices, they were like $110 to $295. Those were scrapped. It'll make a lot more sense to you as to why those were scrapped. The updated plan, Joey, reflects more attainable goals while still requiring, of course, significant long-term execution. It also underscores Rivian's intent here to retain its founder, right, RJ, and focus on sustained profitability as it prepares to launch, yes, that much-awaited R2 SUV, which is a lower-cost model designed to challenge Tesla's Model Y, the best-selling car in based on external consultant guidance. But that's not the only thing, Joey. Scaringe will also serve as chairman of Mind Robotics, which is a Rivian-backed spinoff focused on, you guessed it, industrial AI. He'll receive 1 million common units, representing a potential 10% stake in that Mind Robotics company if it meets its profit milestones. Rivian will remain a major shareholder, signaling interest in diversifying beyond EVs and into AI, automation, and technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as for the stock, it's good. I mean, we're starting to break out. We're on the higher time frames here, guys. And the volume supporting this breakout, which I think is extremely important to note. What Rivian's got going on is, what I'm thinking here is the longer the consolidation, the more aggressive it can be, the breakout that is. You have multiple touches of that $16 level. You're now on your third one. Is it fourth one, even if you want to classify this as a potential shelf? Watch out for Rivian to sustain this movement and break out a little bit higher, because this volume print right here that we experienced a couple sessions ago, I think is phenomenal for this name. And let's see if it can continue. But if it starts to reject, watch out for it to come back into the lower end of the channel.
Yeah, it's been a nice little move up lately. I like that higher lows there, Joey.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
That's a good look, and that's a clean area of resistance.
Bro, once that snaps, man, watch out for this name. Like, I mean, you can start heading in towards like filling this gap here potentially and stuff. But this is what I'm talking about. The majority of these downside gaps in half-decent names do get filled eventually.
They do. Those are common gaps. If that's a
trade in
clean definition of a common gap.
Beautiful stuff.
All right, Adara, Rivian.
Hold on. Whoa.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see, we got something. Lost. If I'm interrupting Sharief for this, it better be good, my friend. It's not doing anything.
What is
it's
that?
Google.
Goggles?
Yeah,
it's at
goggles.
Day's Eye.
Yeah, it's at Day's Eye. But I have these like, oh my God, like I'm thinking this thing's going nuts, right? But no, hopefully you've been long that one and good work, my friend.
All right, guys. Darwin's taking Rivian short. All right, the OG Darwin's spoken in the chat. Shout out to my man. All right, Adara, 4.6 billion if performance goals are met.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder about the precedent that this sets. And again, you can be like, oh, Adara always the worrying one, the devil's advocate, whatever. No, but I truly think that it's kind of an interesting argument. And honestly, like, you wonder if Rivian had this all prepared. They had it all written out. They were ready to release it. And the second Elon gets shareholder approval, they're like, okay, our shareholders better approve this too. Run, let's go to the presses now. Because just the timing of this release release came out roughly 24 hours after we got the shareholder approval with the Elon Musk pay package for Tesla, right? So I think it's an interesting look. Now I have a couple questions. One, I wonder if this just remains the case within this EV space, right? Because it's an interesting look. If you think about it from Rivian's perspective with regards to competition, that I kind of get, and I think that makes sense. Like, oh no, Elon Musk is going to be massively incentivized to work really hard. Why don't we massively incentivize our CEO to do the same thing? But where I think RJ is very different from Elon is that Elon is known for having his hands in many pies at the same time, simultaneously, on and off, et cetera, right? RJ does not have the political involvement. RJ, to my knowledge, is not running several other companies. Do you know what I mean? So I think the risk here with RJ and the incentive to keep him is, I think, a little bit smaller than it would be for Elon Musk. Now, I also wonder, the more of these packages that we get, assuming that these are not the only two packages that we get either in the EV sector or just in the market as a whole, I wonder if the investor excitement on these dies down a bit the more that we get. If the space gets, for lack of a better term, diluted. We'll have to wait and find out. But either way, I think the timing of this is interesting. And I wonder if this is going to be as successful or effective as a measure that it was with Elon Musk. Just for, again, I think coming down to it, this different personalities between these two CEOs. Back to you.
And MasterCarding, the near a landmark fee reduction settlement. Apparently, this thing's been going on for 20 years. Merchants hate Visa. They hate MasterCard. You're taking too much of our money, they're saying back. So Visa, MasterCard are reportedly close to finalizing a settlement that could end a 20-year dispute with U.S. merchants over credit card fees as well as network restrictions. More on that in a second. The deal, first reported by the Journal, would trim interchange fees, typically between 2 and 2.5%, by around 0.1 percentage points over several years. Really? This is what we're excited about? The hell? All right, we got to see if we can take some prints over here, Joey, on open. I just got long into open because it popped into VWAP. It would allow merchants more control over which cards they accept, granting the ability to reject higher fee cards that have rewards and therefore have higher fees within a single network. Any final agreement, according to the report, would require court approval before implementation, hence why we started the title with a near landmark fee reduction, because we need to get it approval. So here's the deal. If approved, stores could choose which card categories to accept. For example, rewards cards, non-rewards cards, commercial cards, etc., instead of being forced to take all card types with no discretion. This move could help small retailers reduce the cost, but risks alienating, of course, high-spending customers who prefer the premium rewards cards. Does make sense there. The original lawsuit filed back in 2005 accused Visa and MasterCard of anti-competitive practice around these interchange fees and the acceptance rules. The retailer card network tensions have escalated as interchange fees hit $72 billion they made from that in 2023. The issue has drawn renewed scrutiny as premium rewards cards surge in popularity, shifting funding burdens back to merchants through higher fees. So Do you like the fact that they can, choose which cards to take, or if you have a Visa, you should, if you see Visa on the door, you should be able to use the Visa.
Absolutely,
yeah,
right?
But
doesn't that reduce also your total addressable market as well? Like
of course it does.
Exactly.
Absolutely
so at the end of the day, so it's like, why would you want to limit who's going to be a customer? Because if you have someone coming in and it's like, oh no, we only accept Visa, and you have a MasterCard, you just lost the potential.
I'm assuming, this is just an assumption. So if you've got a few credit cards, one is going to be that rewards credit card, and they'll be like, no, sir, we can't accept that. That's a higher fee. Do you have anything else? And so then you schlep out another card, maybe that they accept. Obviously, that's not a great result for anybody.
I don't have multiple. I have one credit card.
I have three. I have one of each. I have Visa, I have MasterCard, I have American Express.
Scam artists, man.
You have to have all three, my boy.
You don't have to have all three. For sure, it might be. But because I think the Visa is the more popular one, is it not, right? You can use it almost anywhere in the world, so that's why I personally like a Visa.
All right, let's go on to the next topic, guys. Rumble surges on a $970 million AI acquisition of Northern Data. Let's talk about this. First of all, let's see where Rumble's at. RUM, shout out to Canada. Up 8 and change, baby. Almost 9% on the day. Well off the highs, though. 684 high, trading at 641 right now. And it was a lot higher in the pre, might I add. It was about 780 there in the pre, so we're well off the highs. Rumble announced it will acquire Germany's Northern Data, which is a leading AI infrastructure company, in a deal worth up to $970 million. The acquisition positions Rumble to expand far beyond video streaming into AI data centers and GPU infrastructure. Seriously? Is this like a crypto thing all over again, or say AI and everything goes up? Which a move the company calls building the AI ecosystem from the ground up. Sure. The shares surged 26% in the pre. They were probably higher than that because I just mentioned a higher level than 740, while Northern Data's Frankfurt-listed stock jumped 46% up to $17 euros. Here's the deal structure and the valuation. Northern Data shareholders are going to receive about more than 2 million Rumble Class A shares for each share they own, valuing the company at around $760 million. They could also earn an additional $200 million in cash payments. It is contingent, though, on the sale of Northern Data's Corpus Christi, Texas data center. The acquisition is backed by Tether, the stablecoin issuer, allowing Rumble to access over 40,000 NVIDIA's GPUs and significant data center capacity, which is, of course, key for AI model training, Joey. So the CEO says this is a strategic expansionary plan. What do you make of it?
As for RUM, I mean, we don't trade this too often from an intraday standpoint. I mean, you can run in here and you can see in the post-market and the pre-market some liquidity issues. And if you were to go down a little bit lower on the time frame, a lot of barcode and algo price action. This is what you got going on there. So just be cautious on what you're doing. But as for back to the daily, guys, it's tough, right? So you go from December of 24, just a little bit of away for a year from now, you're down 63%, and you're bouncing off of some key support levels. I would look for this signal to hold. If $5.50 breaks, there might be some more downside.
Well said, Joey. Well said. Just give me a second over here. Yeah, we're taking some profits here on open, guys. We got long at 52s. It didn't hold the volume weighted average price strictly, but it double bottomed below it, and I had my out up on the red bar low, which is that bar at 135. There it goes up into 66s. We'll get another print there. Good look right now for open door. Shout out to Eric Jackson and company over there. Really interesting watch, by the way, guys, on the compound. Just with respect to kind of how he views things and his life trajectory, like it's been all over the map, ups, downs. You know, he had billionaires turn their back on him. Anyway, it's a really interesting story. If Open Door, of course, matters to you as a company, it's a good watch. Let's talk about Instacart. Cart surging after beating Q3 estimates and raising their buyback. Let's see where Cart's at right now. Show yourself, Cart. Up, well, it's flat. It's up 0.11. But well off the pre-market highs where it got almost into $40, trading right now at $36.80. So Instacart beat Wall Street expectations for Q3 gross transaction value as well as core profit. It was really driven by demand for groceries and everyday essentials, which is kind of what they do. The company's gross transaction value of 9.17 billion topped analyst estimates, well ahead of the 9.09, and their core profit, which is their EBITDA, came in at 278 million. That's their take-home money, and it's above the forecast of 264. So good look there. Their advertising revenue, though, and a lot of people make the case that this company is an advertising company, not a grocery delivery company. That rose 5.5% quarter over quarter, not year over year. Quarter over quarter to 269 million, highlighting the growth in its ad tech business. Shares were up at about 7% in the pre, but as I said, right now they're looking a bit flat. Consumer demand and market competition. So they said their growth was helped by lower prices on essentials and faster delivery options. Their strong order volume was boosted by categories like fruits, vegetables, and dairy. Competition does remain intense, especially from Amazon, said the company, which recently expanded its fast delivery grocery service, Joey, to include perishables like meat, milk, and strawberries, something that was niche to cart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a cart office in Liberty Village,
yes,
down the street. But no, in all seriousness, guys, you get this IPO back in September of 23, and you get this nice move higher. After that, you've double topped that 53 and are trading down to 36 right now. So that's a 31% haircut. It's the same narrative, I feel, in a lot of names right now, is just watch out for some key support levels to break. If that continues to hold up, then you can get a potential bounce. I'm not going to call this range trading or whatever along those lines, because that is a 20-point and it's not that consolidative. But as for Instacart, as long as it holds levels, I think you're going to be okay in that one. But as for everything else, guys, this market has been going insane, Sharief. Amazon is still grinding higher. Like, what are you doing? And then also the SPY has been putting in a new high of the day. NVDA put in a new high of the day. I have AAL up on my chart as well too, but that's going oppo right now of the overall market, which isn't too good. And the same thing with the likes of Oracle. Has that continued to, has the bleeding stopped there? No, there's no, this is not good. They hit an artery, it seems, at this point, Sharief. But the rebound that we experienced right now is a thing of beauty. A lot of people weren't thinking that this was going to happen. I was slightly thinking fade earlier in the morning, but that just tells you any 4.5% to 5% dip is getting bought up. And I mentioned this earlier, you're now 1.5% in the SPY from that previous all-time high. I'm still sitting in some Apple, guys. You know this. We've been slowly piecing it out as it continues to grind, but not nearly as strong as a recovery as some of these other big names there.
All right, Joey, open continues to be strong. What the beak there? You know we're waiting the beak, guys. If it's at 69, don't even bother asking. Here we go. 72 is now showing up. I'm waiting at 73, seller at 72. There has been a seller at 72 for the last little while. And by little while, I'm talking about a few minutes since I've been watching it. I'm also posted a little bit below 75. I don't think that that's the right beak wetter to take there, so I will cancel said beak wetter, and we're going to post up a little bit higher at 7.7. So let's go ahead and post there. Looking for a good continuation here on open door above 3/4. Look, high day 796, basically knocked on the door of $8 on the day and up an aggressive 17 1/3%. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about this one last week, and if you were one of the listeners to the compound, you probably heard this as well. So, or this was on your mind as well. So open door, not a bad look right now. So I wanted to mention that. I also want to mention HKIT. I was worried that this was going to give up the ghost as quickly as it popped up, because it felt like it came out of nowhere at 1 o'clock with volume. But look at the higher lows, man, on HKIT, now up 41.5% and generally holding 3. I want to say it's been holding 3 since that 135 candle dipped below it, and generally it's been, for the most part, holding that $3 area with a 323 high. If you were to get in here, I'd be giving this to 294, give it a little bit of room so you don't get stop hunted below 3, but that would be the level I'd be looking for to hold. Generally 3, but I wouldn't place my stop right around 3 just for the reasons I articulated there. So this one is a good look. I would be looking to punch into HKIT if it was earlier on. What time is it? It's about 5 minutes before the end of the show until the big kahunas come on. So this one could, be one of those ones that hits 4, maybe triple digits on the day, especially if it can take out that $0.25. Let's take a quick look at the daily on this monster. What the hell? Look at this, Joey. This is a nice, like these small cap gappers, typically, when they have moves up like this, they're right back down the next day.
That one's being sustained.
Exactly.
That's
you
a
got
big time
to the point
move, man.
very quickly. I like this move, bro. This is a good.
It's a big smiley face right there.
Big smiley face. So shout out to Big Smile. Where's he
Nice
at?
curl over.
Yeah, and this, what's it called? This $2 level was a bit of a staunchy level going all the way back to February of 2024. So HKIT, yeah, great intraday move, but also a sustained daily move, might I add. So keep tabs on that, Joey. What do you got?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right. I mean, I don't have much left here on this Apple trade. I can punch out and feel no ways about it. Currently, right now, it's been a phenomenal day. Let's do a little quick trade review. I've traded 4 names, and only one of them are red. We'll start it off with the red one here. And that's going to be, surprisingly, NVDA. I just took a small loss on it because I'm like, what am I doing? Right? And then sure enough, look at this, 5 minutes later, boom, straight to the top side. I'm so glad that we got out of that one. I'm like, yeah, that's not the right trade, Joseph. You don't want to be buying NVDA into supports. It just gets bought up immediately. Bitcoin's selling pretty aggressively right here. Market's starting to come back in. Well, I mean, not overly. Couple pennies from the high, Sharief, nothing crazy. Yeah, I had to hop out of Apple. I'll wait again. I don't know if you were short or anything there, Brian. Oh, you got the calls. You got the calls. Yeah. You got to be patient on that one. It's a slow burner. So anyways, NVDL is going to be our only red name on the session. Let's head over to what else we were trading. QUBT. That was the one. I planned this one over the weekend. There's that reload opportunity. Let's get involved. 50% accuracy on this one. Let's get more in depth. What I was specifically looking for. QUBT, bang, there it is. We'll pull it up on the 1 minute time frame. And as soon as I seen this print, so we have a double correlation essentially. One on the daily, one on the intraday, especially after some aggressive selling right out of the gates of that opening auction. So sure enough, boom, we get that move higher. And then this inverted print was the one, but I was like, you know what, I have a bullish bias, so we're going to avoid that. And you need to order shorts for this. But there's QUBT off of this 1 minute hammer candle off of the lows. So that was our best performer of the day, considering we only took 2 stabs at it, 1 for 1. Now TQs, this one continued to grind. So shout out to Pharrell, grinding. Yeah, like some big time stuff over there, Sharief. In this one, let's zoom out here. And then we get the reload. It comes and retests this level. And then sure enough, I had to get out break even, and then it just grinded all day long. But not a bad grab off of those lows. Missed the VWAP, but we get the reload there. And then for our final name of the day, that is going to be AAPL, in which we are currently still sitting in. We like this one a lot. But again, I don't have very much size. We can hop out at any given moment. Let's see if we can get a rebound here in Oracle. By no means am I going to be trying to grab the bottom on this, but this could be a potential good hammer candle. If we get a little bit of more buyers to step in, we like that one. And there goes Bitcoin, rejecting some pre-market lows. You get the consolidation, but too much supply, not enough demand to go anywhere north of that $60 level on IBIT.
Yes, sir. All right, we're continuing to take some prints here on Open Door as it pops up into that $0.75. We just went the peak at 76. It's the local area high is 77. Days high is 796. Sorry, we got prints at 76. There's 77. Now I'm waiting at 79. Let's see if we can get that continuation above 80. I feel like there was a support level at around 80 to 85. It's hard to see. It looked like it was just a downtrend, so maybe I'm just seeing what I want to there. But good look for Open Doors. What do we got on? We got 52s on right now, 77s. Let's go ahead and post in the low 80s as well in case we get a price spike up into that level. Ideally, this clears 8, man. I don't know. I think this is it's a good looking name today, man. And
it is a nice name.
It's a clean move, Joey. There's 77s again. There's a seller at almost every level, though. So you're gonna have to pack your patience at almost every penny because neither, none of the levels are just getting blown through at the moment. They're all steady state, stair-stepping up. That's what I'm looking at there. I also want to bring your attention to that one that I was in, Swaggy P. Shout out to Pascal Siakam. We used to call him Swaggy P.
I thought it was Spicy P.
Spicy P, yeah, I'll call him Swaggy P. 305 local area high. It's still holding above $3, Joey, generally above the volume weighted average price. A prolonged bull flag. This could be a good continuation here for SWAG. As I mentioned earlier, HKIT as well, a really good look. A little bit lighter lighter on volume, though, HKIT, especially look at that bottom right, declining volume profile, 323 high. Keep your eye on that one. There goes open frickin' door into 79s, Joey. We're waiting at 79s. It's not crossing, so we won't get the print. Let's pack the patience there. I can definitely use this. I can use my trailing stop. There it goes, Joey, into 81s. Now we're waiting at 82s on the open one. Shut it to open door. We're going to throw in 88s over here. Shut it to the Eric Jackson. Ooh. Hilarious. I can't believe this guy actually showed up every day to Drake's. I thought he stopped doing it because we stopped talking about it, but apparently he's showing up every day and he's doing his videos.
Tell me you have a lot of money on something without telling me you have a lot of money.
His kid actually came up with it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you gotta do this every day till Drake buys it.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I don't think
Drake ain't buying it. I don't think he's gonna buy it.
All right, man. It is yes, it is 2:01:15. And the big boys are locked and they're loaded and they're ready to go. We're going to send you over to them. I'll see everybody shortly.
Stop bleeding, Bitcoin. Geez.